Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tim Collins, and this is Heart Disciples Baseball Television. And today's game between the Buchbinder Legionäre Regensburg and the Heart Disciples getting ready to begin in a couple of minutes' time, scheduled for 2 p.m. local time start here on Sunday afternoon, the 19th of August, 2018. It is a beautiful day here in Haar. The sun is shining. The field looks wonderful. There were some little puddles left over in the outfield thanks to the sprinkler system yesterday, but that has been dried away and the mound has been worked on, and everything is ready for the first pitch, which is scheduled for 2 minutes from now. And the Buchbinder Legionäre and Heart Disciples finishing off a weekend series. This series started yesterday in Regensburg, and Regensburg won the game by a score of 11-2 behind, as usual, strong pitching from Mike Bolsenbrook. The Disciples had Richard Klein in there for 5 1/3 innings, and things sort of fell apart in the 6th inning, and including an injury to William Thorpe. So William Thorpe is not in the starting lineup today for the Heart Disciples. David Wallace will be catching behind the plate, and the Disciples will be sending their ace, Jan Tomek, the Czech right-hander, a former member of the Buchbinder Legionäre, and he will be pitching here in the second game of this weekend series. This is the 4th time in the playoffs these two teams will have met, and in fact, the entire season it will be the 8th time, and right now, the Disciples have a record of 1 win and 6 losses against the Legionäre. And so the Legionäre, who are ahead of them in the standings, they're in 2nd place currently with a record of 23-12, behind the Heidenheim Heideköpfe at 28-8. Haar is 21-14, so they're 2 games back of Regensburg as we speak. Mainz at 21-15. And so Mainz only 1 game behind the Disciples in the loss column. The Disciples still with a chance, but it is fading quickly here as we are completing this weekend of play in the new playoff format. There will be a series next weekend versus the Mainz Athletics here in Haar, and both of those games will be broadcast for you. And then the final weekend of the series will be a split weekend series between the Heidenheim Heideköpfe and the Heart Disciples. And after that, we will know who's going to be in the semifinals. We know one thing is for sure, the Heideköpfe will be there, along with the Bonn Capitals in the north. And the Solingen Alligators and Paderborn Untouchables are duking it out for that 2nd place position in the north. So it's a very exciting time in the Bundesliga right now, as you can see the plate conference taking place as Kai Gronauer, and looks like home plate umpire will be Alexander Wagner. And down the first baseline is Jens Weidert, on the third baseline Oswald Scharf. So a 3-man umpire crew here in Haar, and nice crowd is beginning to file in. We are in the middle of Bavarian summer vacation, so a lot of folks might be tuning in from different places. I've often gotten messages from people saying they're tuning in from their vacation in Italy or Spain or wherever it might be, but quite honestly, the weather here is about as good as you could possibly imagine anywhere else. It is hot and sunny. There's a breeze blowing from right to left. And it looks like this ballgame is about ready to begin as the Disciples are huddled off to the left in front of their dugout along the third baseline. Umpires are taking their positions on the field. And the Disciples will take the field momentarily. They're going to be sending Jan Tomek to the mound. He will be opposed by Bill Greenfield for the Buchbinder Legionäre. And the Disciples now taking the field, as this ball game is going to start maybe a couple minutes past the scheduled time. And the defensive alignment for the Disciples looks like this. You have Jan Tomek on the mound working with catcher David Wallace. I mentioned he's in there because of the injury to William Thorpe. William Thorpe was injured on a slide on a play at the plate, and his left knee was swollen, and he was walking on crutches today. He will not be playing today, although his name is on the lineup card. Anyway, David Wallace behind the plate catching. Ruben Manriquez playing third base. Nate Sean Thomas playing shortstop. Richard Klein is the second baseman. Chris Ziegler is playing first base. From left to right in the outfield, Dennis Wallace is playing left. Jan Endriat, who has not been with the first team for quite a while, but he's a very speedy outfielder, and he will be patrolling center field. Luke Steinlein will be in right field. The lineup that Jan Tomek is going to face looks like this. Lucas Jan, the second baseman, leads off. Nino Sakaza, the third baseman, will bat second. Pascal Amon, the center fielder, bats third. Matt Vance, the cleanup hitter, he is batting fourth and playing right field. Eric Harms is in left field. He's batting fifth. Alex Schmidt, a young talented shortstop, is batting sixth. David Grimes, the first baseman, bats 7th. Jose Palacios is the designated hitter, and he homered yesterday, drove the ball very well, and he is batting 8th. Jonathan Heimler, the catcher, is batting 9th. This ball game, of course, is brought to you by MSD, the Gesundheitsunternehmen, MSD, Star Car, die günstig gelbe Autovermieter, and Gemeindewerk Haar. So thank you to our sponsors, and Kreissparkasse as well, for bringing you making this broadcast possible. My name is Tim Collins. I'll be joined a little bit later by some special guests. And this ball game about ready to begin, as you see Richard Klein, H.John Thomas high-fiving each other. David Wallace out at the mound, and it's going to be working with Jan Tomek. I'll give you Tomek's numbers momentarily. Tomek is a right-hander. He's from the Czech Republic, and he has just been fantastic for the Disciples this year. 115-plus innings, ERA of 3.12, and he's just been a workhorse. He's been working late into ball games, knowing that the Disciples don't have much depth behind him in their bullpen, and so he's known what his task was before he goes out there. And really, if you look at 4 of his last 5 starts, he's gone at least 7 innings and almost into the 8th inning. So here we go. Lucas Jan steps up to the plate.
Play ball.
And you heard Jo Penskover, stadium announcer, say play ball. First pitch, hit in the air to right field and deep. Steinlein going back, warning track, wall, and he reaches up, and he made the catch as he smashed into the net. Well, that's quite a beginning to the ball game. First pitch, and I think with the wind blowing in, that ball might have been gone had the wind not been blowing from right to left. But Steinlein backing up, he sort of drifted and drifted and drifted, and he banged into the fence as he leapt, and the ball ended up in the webbing of his glove. 1 pitch, 1 out, and that will bring up Nino Sakaza. Sakaza yesterday had a big day. He had a couple of hits. In fact, he had 3 hits, I believe, to lead the offensive attack. And it was his base hit that actually led to that play at the plate in which Will Thorpe got injured. Another left-hand hitter. And Jan Tomek's pitch. That is a fastball outside, 1 ball, no strikes. There's 1 out, nobody on base. We're in the top of the first. No score between these two teams. And the 1-0 pitch is low, 2 balls and no strikes. Nino Sakaza hitting at .321 in 29 games. He does not have a home run this year. He does have a triple. But he's hurt the Disciples with his bat quite a few times. There's a ground ball to the right side. Siegler gets it on a short hop and touches first base very quickly. 2 down, 3 unassisted on the putout. And that will bring up Pascal Amon. Amon in 11 games hitting at .262. He has 3 home runs. 1 of them was yesterday against the Disciples. Former Los Angeles Dodgers farmhand. Left-hand hitter. It's 3 left-hand hitters in a row to start the lineup for the Legionäre against Jan Tomek. And the pitch is a strike on the outside corner, 0-1 the count. Top of the first, no score, 2 outs, nobody on base. Regensburg won yesterday at 11-2, and this ball hit hard on the ground to the right side on 2 hops to Richard Klein. And he fields and throws to first. His throw a little bit to the outfield side of first, but Ziegler plenty of time to go out there and get it. So a very quick and easy 1-2-3 first inning thanks to a nice play by Luke Steinlein. We will go to the bottom of the first inning. No score. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD.
I'm going to join you.
Sure. You're not in the We are back for the bottom of the first inning. No score between the Disciples and the Buchbinder Legionäre Regensburg. And I'm joined by the first of probably many special guests today. I've also got another friend on the way. He's no stranger to anybody watching this game right now, and that, of course, is Mr. Tobias Dietrich. Servus von Legonäre TV. How you doing, Toby?
Hey, Tim. All good. Thank you. Great day for baseball here in Munich, and I mean, it's great to be here and join you for a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for coming by. Of course, you know the invitation is always open. And Bill Greenfield is going to take the mound for the Legionäre. He's pitched exactly 103 innings, 3.15 ERA. And he will face Nate Sean Thomas, batting right-handed. First pitch, there's a strike.
Yeah, Bill Greenfield, he had some struggles early in the season, had a couple of bad games where he kind of got beaten around, but those last couple of weeks really has settled in, has a good outings. Had a rather short outing last week in Mainz. Was taken out in fifth inning because he was already up at over 100 pitches, but still only gave up 2 runs. Bullpen giving it up in that game for the Legionäre. And yeah, he's really left a good impression pretty much against all the teams that we've played this season.
Yeah, he's pitched well against the Disciples as well. And he's got a 2-1 count on Nate Thomas. And that pitch just missed low and outside. 3 balls and a strike. The lineup, by the way, for the Disciples looks like this. Nate Sean Thomas, followed by Klein and Stein. Ziegler, Manriquez, Pinheiro, 4, 5, 6. Dennis Wallace, David Wallace, and Jan Endriat, 7, 8, 9. Here's the 3-1. And it's high, ball 4. So Thomas draws a leadoff walk.
Yeah, Nate Thomas getting the leadoff walk always helps and always kind of avoids giving the pitcher a good start to the game, kind of, because you really didn't even give your defense a chance to make a play on that one. But let's see if he can settle in here.
Yeah, it looked like maybe a couple of close pitches.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So let's see what Richard Klein can do with runner on first base. Thomas taking his lead, and Klein pops up a bunt. Left side of the infield, caught by Greenfield. That's the first out very quickly, and Thomas retreats back to first base.
That helps, I guess, and Richard Klein here not getting the bunt down. I remember he once bunted a ball into the stadium where we have all the announcers and stuff in Regensburg. He got it over the fence and he got it into the booth, and it happens from time to time. I mean, sure, he didn't do it on purpose.
Here's Luke Steinlein, and that's a fastball, and it's dialed in there for strike number 1. Greenfield looked like he reached back for a little extra there. Greenfield is from Radnor, Pennsylvania. He went to Furman University. Left-hand pitcher, obviously. This is his first year playing in the Bundesliga. And a check on Nate Sean Thomas, who is practically standing on first base. Thomas is a threat to go, but I wonder how much a difference it makes with a left-hander on the mound who can see his lead the whole time. 1 strike the count on Steinlein, and a slide step move, and he drops a fastball on the inside corner, 0-2. That's one of the things a left-hander can do to hold runners close.
Yeah, really utilizing the rhythm as well as different deliveries to keep the runner there close. And Thomas didn't really look like he was going there anywhere. Let's see if that changes here on 0-2, but flinching a little bit, but he stays put.
And the curveball is outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, that was a timing thing. You saw Greenfield waited maybe 1 second in the previous pitch. In the time that he came from the stretch to delivering the ball. That time he waited maybe 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, right.
And Thomas, who was trying to time it, was caught flat-footed, I think.
Yeah.
The 1-2 pitch. A pop fly right field long run for Vance towards the line. He is under it and calls for it to make the catch.
Yeah, those situations can make you look pretty stupid as a base runner when you all of a sudden take off and the pitcher has not delivered at all and he just throws over and to first, and then they get you out in the rundown. But sometimes you just got to guess the timing and you feel like you know it and you go on that. And I mean, especially on there's pitches that are really tough to steal on, and sometimes in important situations you sometimes just got to take a gamble and try to get over there. But you can look pretty foolish as a runner there.
Well, that's One thing lefty pitchers take great pride in is making runners
there he goes.
look out. There's the pitch on the outside corner. Throw to second base. Not in time. And Thomas steals second base. He just barely got the left hand in there. Ozzie Sharp was right there to make the call. So, well, that was very close. The pitch, I believe, was called a ball. It was. So the count 1 ball, no strikes. There are 2 down in the inning.
Lucas Jan doing his best to get the tag down, but like you said, Nate Thomas just getting the hand in there. I think so too.
So now Ziegler with a chance to give the Disciples an early lead. You got good speed on second. The pitch, little slurve or a breaking pitch. That one's in there for a strike. One ball, 1 strike on Chris Ziegler. Nate Thomas is the runner at second base. 2 down. Ziegler, that open stance against the left-hander Greenfield, and he waves and misses at that sweeping breaking ball. Strike 2, 1-2.
Not even close on that one there, Chris Ziegler. Greenfield ahead in the count now with the chance to get out of this first inning.
1-2. And the left-hander's pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He does indeed get out of the inning, stranding the runner Nate Thomas at second base. No runs, no hits, 1 man left on base, and at the end of an inning of play, it is scoreless here in Haar. This is Haar Disciples Baseball präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. We go to the top of the second inning here in Haar. No score between Regensburg and the Disciples. For Jan Tomek, he will face 4, 5, and 6 Matt Vance, Eric Harms, and Alex Schmidt. He had a 1-2-3 first inning thanks to a nice catch in front of the right field fence off the bat of Lucas Jan into the glove of Luke Steinlein. So Lucas is on both ends of that play.
That was a really nice catch there by Steinlein out in right. He had to go really a long way and reached up and somehow got it into his glove while falling into the netting there.
Here's Matt Vance pitch. Fastball is taken inside for a ball. One ball, no strikes on Vance, who has 5 home runs this year. That leads the Legonäre. One of those was a walk-off shot that you saw.
That's right.
A couple of months ago.
That has been a while ago. We saw 2 home runs yesterday. Palacios hit 1 out. So did Amon. So they got the bats going late in the game. They really took a long time to get going against Richard Klein, who did a good job keeping them off balance there, changing speeds and really doing all he could, I guess. I mean, we both know, and viewers at home, he's not a pitcher.
There's a swing and a miss. Good pitch. 1-1. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Klein was a pitcher when he was younger and playing in Great Britain, but he's been sort of pressed into duty.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the Mets and Phillies game from a couple days ago.
Oh, there was 2 position players pitching that. I read that. I
Pitch outside.
Didn't see the game, though.
2 balls and 1 strike to Matt Vance. Scott Kingery came in to pitch for the Phillies, and not one single of his pitches was registered in StatCast because they were all below 50 miles an hour.
Oh,
so,
I didn't even know that.
2-1 the count to Matt Vance, leading off the second inning, no score. And the pitch from Tomek, breaking ball, swing and a miss. So far, everything has had a little wrinkle in it to Vance, and he almost came out of his shoes on that swing.
Yeah, not giving him any fastball there to hit right now. Let's see, maybe he comes back with a fastball now with 2 strikes. But
if he does, it's probably going to be upstairs. That's my guess. Here's the 2-2. He tried to look like a changeup, and it was down and in. Vance let it go by. The count now full, 3-2. Wind picks up just a tad. Feels good, gotta say.
Yeah, it does. In the shade, it's quite okay, but in the sun, it's really warm today.
There's a hard ground ball up the middle. It is fielded by Thomas behind second base. Throw to first is in time. And there's one away. 4 up, 4 down for Tomek in this ball game. And that'll bring up Eric Harms. So you're gonna be on DAZN tonight.
That's right. Yeah.
Yankees and
Blue Jays. Yeah, looking forward to that. Got to change back over to German then.
Well, usually, so I would be the one that's like, let's do an inning in German so that we can practice, so that I can practice. Eric Harms comes up to the plate. Harms has 3 home runs this year. Do I remember this correctly? Were all 3 of his home runs in one game? Or were they all on one weekend?
Who was that? Eric Harms?
He took a ball in the first.
I don't think he hit 3 in a game.
I think he hit 2, however.
That's possible, yeah.
There's a strike. 0-2. If I remember correctly, they might have all been on the same weekend.
That might be a chance, yeah.
No balls and 2 strikes to him. Right-hand hitter. He does obviously have power. We mentioned he hit 3 home runs. And the pitch, there's a breaking ball outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Harms. Right-hand hitter. He's got a very big hitch in his swing. There's a 1-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Got him with a changeup or a slider down and away. And there are 2 down. 5 up, 5 down for Mr. Tomek.
Good stuff.
Let's look at the replay. Yeah, that was a changeup perfectly located. And David Wallace. Wallace has gotten a few starts this year at catcher, and now he's pushed into duty because of the injury to Will Thorpe. But he's looked pretty good. He's developed over the past few years, and Alex Schmidt will step up to the plate now.
So Harms hit 2 home runs on the Saarlouis weekend and 1 against Mannheim.
Okay. There's a pitch inside to Alex Schmidt. 1 ball, no strikes.
So you spread them out a little bit.
Tomek working very quickly. Comes back. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And it's outside. Schmidt was running the hands up like he was going to bunt for a hit. Ruben Manriquez, the third baseman, is back. And he took maybe 1 step in, but he's not buying it. Schmidt, a very good hitter, hitting over 300.
Yeah, he's been doing a really good job this season, getting started shortstop last year. And
there's a strike, and the count 2-1.
He stayed in that role ever since, and really picking up with the bat this year as well. And he's not going to hit the ball out of the ballpark, but he's going to hit those line drives and really help the team with that.
Yeah, 377 batting average, 941 OPS is definitely valuable. There's a swing and a tapper foul, 2-2. I remember seeing him, I think, last year for the first time.
Yeah.
And he played a solid shortstop, had some key hits, some clutch hits with runners on base, driving the ball down the left field line. I think I remember him hitting a bases clearing double at one point last year. And he seems to have good hands at shortstop as well. Good young player.
Yeah, definitely doing everything he needs to do defensively as well in the key position on the field. And yeah, he's really left his mark and getting to play with the national team as well now. And that definitely there's a reason behind that. And he was with the team for the Holland Baseball Week, and so he has really developed really well in those last couple of years, and very important for Legonäre right now.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. The pitch. Fastball, that one hit him. Looked like a fastball that was tailing inside. Might have got him maybe on the left forearm. Let's take a look at that on the replay, see where this pitch is. You see the target was inside, and Tomek missed it by a lot, hit him in the hip. So there's the first base runner for the Legionäre, and that will bring up David Grimes. Grimes, the first baseman. He is hitting .242 in 32 games, 22 hits in 91 at-bats. He does have 4 doubles and a triple. He's drawn 17 walks as well.
Has been sharing first base duties with Mitch Stefan mainly, and
Schmidt off first, the pitch. Ground ball to the right side. That's through in right field for a base hit. Schmidt stops at second base as Steinlein comes up with the ball quickly to get it back in. 2 on with 2 outs. There's the first base hit for the Legionäre. And that will bring up the former Haar disciple, Jose Palacios. And Palacios, mentioned, had a good day yesterday, too.
Yes, he did. A really good job. Filling in last moment for Mick Weigel, who was scheduled to play but couldn't make it to the game. And Palacios being flipped into that DH spot like half an hour before the game. And really doing his job, showing that he deserves to be in the lineup, and that's why he's back in there today, I think.
Yeah, he was always a solid player in his few years with the Disciples, and always sort of battling through some injuries at times, it seemed. And
same this year.
There's the pitch to him. First pitch, breaking ball, strike. And Palacios, on the season, he's only played 11 games, hitting .259.
Yeah, he was injured again for a while, so that didn't help, obviously. And, I mean, the Legionäre have a lot of players on the roster this year.
There's a ground ball to third. Manriquez up with it, and he will take it to the bag himself. 5 unassisted, and that will end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on base at the end of an inning of half of play. No scorer. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. Welcome back to the bottom of the second inning. No score, and Bill Greenfield goes to work here in the bottom of the second inning against Ruben Manriquez, Miguel Pinheiro, and Dennis Wallace. 5, 6, and 7 in the order for the Disciples. And Greenfield allowed a leadoff walk to Nate Thomas, but nothing else in the first inning. And his first pitch to Manriquez is hit on the ground towards the shortstop. Schmidt to his left, gobbles it up, throws across the diamond, in time, 1 down. Manriquez, 47 years old, not as quick as he used to be, I think.
True.
Back in the day. That was a good play by Schmidt. He shuffled his feet to his left and kept his chest square to the ball. Didn't try to backhand it, didn't get lazy. He tried to keep his body in front of it and knew that he had time to throw across.
Yeah.
That'll bring up Miguel Pinheiro.
Making good strong throw there over to first baseman David Grimes to easily get the out there.
Pitch was outside, ball 1.
That's always something you realize with players. The longer they play, they will have that inner clock, knowing who's hitting, and they know how fast that guy's going to be, and they know how much time they can take on the play to rather make it safe or whether you have to go for that backhand play, for example, to even have a chance there.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Miguel Pinheiro as he fouled that next pitch back to the screen. Bill Greenfield working about as quickly as he possibly can. He gets the ball and he's ready to throw it.
Just had to wait for that foul ball to be retrieved.
That pitch is high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now this time he steps back for a split second. Miggy steps out of the box. Greenfield is ready. And he works from the left side of the rubber. The pitch bounced over the mound. This one is a play for Schmidt, charging to his left. And he throws on the run to get Pinheiro. That was another good play.
Grimes doing a good job there, catching that one and getting back to the bag with the foot. I think the throw pulled him off it, but he was able to get back there quickly enough.
And 2 very quick outs. That'll bring up Dennis Wallace for the Disciples. I didn't even have much of a chance to give you the batting line for either Manriquez or Pinheiro, but now Dennis Wallace steps up to the plate. And he is hitting at .226. He's got a couple home runs this year. Swing and a miss, strike 1. On the first pitch. And Greenfield's 0-1. Hit in the air to right center field. And it's drifting over towards right center where it's playable for Pascal Amon. And he makes the easy one-handed catch. And it's an easy 1-2-3 inning for Bill Greenfield. No runs, no hits, no errors, no nothing. We go to the 3rd inning, no score. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. Welcome back to the top of the 3rd inning, no score. And Jonathan Heimler will step up to the plate. He's the number 9 hitter in the order. And then back to the top of the order, Lucas Jan and Nino Sakaza against Jan Tomek. Heimler in 15 games hitting .245. He does have a home run this year, however. Right-hand hitter. He's the catcher for today's game. And he looks at a first pitch strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Tomek has allowed a hit batter and a single. He's also got 1 strikeout. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one bounces up there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Little Paul Simon for you. One ball, 1 strike, the count on Jonathan Heimler. Hit in the air to right center field. This is a long run for Endriat and Steinlein. Steinlein was there, but he was called off at the last second by Jan Endriat, who plucked it out of the air just before they might have collided. So Endriat covering some ground.
Looked close, and center fielder takes the charge and takes over the responsibility as well as there and makes a catch there.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the center fielder is the sort of the lead officer of the outfield. Yeah. But that ball was angling more towards Steinlein. It would have been probably an easier catch for him. But anyway, 1 out. And Lucas Jan steps up to the plate. Jan Saw one pitch his first at bat, and he sees one in this at bat. Pops it up in the middle of the diamond. Who's going to catch it? Manriquez on the mound makes the catch.
All right.
I guess that one was maybe a question of seniority, because normally the shortstop would be the one to call that. Well, very quickly.
2 outs.
2 outs.
Not a lot of work for Tomek in this inning, at least so far.
Yeah, his first inning he threw about 5 pitches as well. In fact, he threw exactly 5 pitches in the first inning. He has thrown 4 this inning.
Right.
So Nino Sakaza up there trying to break the spell. And he looks at a strike at the knees. That's the best thing any pitcher can ever do anywhere, is just be consistent with that first pitch strike. It puts the hitter in more of an aggressive mindset. Here's the next one. Bouncing ball, right side, towards the hole. Klein fields, throws to first. And they got him. So, 6 pitches this inning. A little bit of indecision there, as that ball was almost close enough to Ziegler, and he decided to go back and cover first.
Which was the right decision, I think.
So, a 1-2-3 inning, nothing across the board. Boy, this ball game flying by. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. No score. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. Welcome back to the bottom of the 3rd inning. No score here in Haar. It'll be David Wallace, Jan Endriat, and Nate Sean Thomas, 8, 9, and 1 in the order, due up for the Hard Disciples against Bill Greenfield. And Greenfield has cruised through the first couple innings, and he goes to work here against David Wallace. First pitch, fastball right in there, strike 1.
Yeah, David Wallace had to step in as catcher yesterday after the injury to Will Thorpe, and he's back at it today. And I don't think he gets that much catching practice, and usually does he?
No, he started a couple other games as he fouls that one off his foot, 0-2. And it's something that I think, if I remember correctly, he really started training for it maybe last year. But, you know, he's done a pretty good job filling in. I mean, Thorpe is a pretty tough player to lose, both from the lineup, but also sort of the leadership that Thorpe provides with his game calling and sort of patrolling the team. There's a broken bat ground ball to the left side. It's going to be a tough play for Schmidt. He charges, throws, and gets him. Good play.
Makes it look easy again, yeah, and really on top of it.
Yeah, let's look at that one on the replay, if I queued it up correctly. Did not. Never mind. So that'll bring up Jan Endriat. Endriat has not played with the first team in a while. He's only been in 3 games all year. He's 1 for 6 on the year with a run scored. And so, left-hander Greenfield against the right-handed hitting Jan Endriat, and the first pitch in there for a strike, 0-1. Endriat has gotten some cups of coffee with the first team going back a couple of years. Fouls one to the screen, 0-2. He's always played a decent outfield, and he's been known to come in and pitch in relief when necessary as well. Former Schweig Red Lion. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Greenfield. And he lays off a high fastball. The 1-2. Bounced slowly left side. The ball stays fair. It is gloved by Sakazi. He bounces the throw to first, and Endriat beats it out. That'll be a base hit. It was a ground ball that sort of hugged the third baseline.
Tough play there for Sakaza, and put everything he had on throw, but not able to be handled by Grimes over there. And I think, as you said, he beat it out as well.
So Endriat, a 2-out single. He's at 1-out single rather. He's at first base, and now the top of the order, Nachon Thomas. Thomas walked his first time. We are in the bottom of the third inning, no score between Haar and Heidenheim. I went back, Toby, and I was looking at the last 5 games these two teams played, and the Disciples have led for exactly 1.5 innings in the last 5 games, and they lost. That was the lead. That was the 4-3 walk-off game. That's the last time the Disciples had a lead against the Legionäre. Pitch was high to Nachon Thomas, 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch, there's a little slider that slips in the back door, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, it has been kind of Legionäre favorite this year all over it, but I mean, it's that one more game they play right now, and we all know how quickly things can change. And
pitches inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Thomas was showing bunt. Third baseman Sakaza is back. 2 down in the air, 1 out in the inning. Excuse me. And Greenfield from the stretch. The pitch. That one catches the inside corner at the knees. Even count now, 2-2. Hendry had a very short lead off first base, being held on by David Grimes. You see him take his lead.
yeah, no danger to steal.
Still a short lead.
At least he pretends to not be a danger. There he goes. Throw by Heimler, and this time they got him.
I believe so, yes. You are correct. Yeah, I mean, he had a short lead. He didn't have a bad jump.
No, he really got a good jump against Greenfield, which is never easy against a lefty, but good throw against by Heimler, and this time Lucas Jan able to get the tag there quick enough.
It was a pretty good pitch to throw on. It was kind of high and outside as well. So now there are 2 outs.
There we go. You jinxed it.
And the pitch is hit on the ground to the right side. The second baseman, Jan, stays down on it and throws to first in time for the end of the third inning. And Toby, you're going to go back and relax with
I'm going to go back and relax a little bit.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, you'll have other people come in during the game, and so enjoy the rest of the afternoon here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, Tim.
No score. We go to the 4th inning. This is Hard Disciples Baseball. Präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. We go to the top of the 4th inning. No score here in Haar. Jan Tomek back out to the mound. And he's going to deal with 3, 4, and 5. Pascal Amon, Matt Vance, and Eric Harms. Amon, his first time, grounded out. So he will step up against Nachon Thomas. Both teams only with 1 hit in the game. And Tomek has only thrown 31 pitches in the game. Been very economical. He's been throwing strikes, and that's been putting the Regensburg offensive attack in a very aggressive mode. The first pitch is taken low, ball 1, left-handed swinging Amon. Amon has power. He has 3 home runs. Mentioned it last time he batted. He homered yesterday. And the 1-0 from Tomek. Chopped foul off to the right. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tomek, who is originally from the Czech Republic, he's 26 years of age. He's pitched in the Bundesliga. He's pitched in the Extraliga and pitched for the Czech national team. And the pitch, swing and a miss, a big breaking ball, and Amon behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Tomek was a member of the Curaçao Neptunus team that won the European Cup last year. Pitch is grounded on the first base line, fielded in fair territory by Chris Ziegler. He steps to first, and that's the first out of the inning. Pitching to contact, just like he did last weekend against the Heidenheim Heideköpfe. Tomek has just been great in this season. This is his first season with the Haar Disciples. And now with 1 out, nobody on, that'll bring up Matt Vance. Tomek in his last start versus the Heideköpfe actually got the win. That was after Will Thorpe hit the game-tying 3-run home run in the 8th. And Matt Vance shortens his hands up to bunt, takes a breaking ball low and outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Tomek looked like he was going to get a tough luck loss. He went 8 innings in that game, and in the 8th inning gave up a 3 spot to the Heideköpfe. But then Clayton Freimuth ran out of gas, and Ekle went to the bullpen, and things unraveled from there as the Disciples scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. And that turned the result for Jan Tomek, who got a win. There's the 1-0 to Vance. Fastball on the inside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike. In that game, Tomek allowed 9 hits, 3 runs. Only had 1 strikeout and 1 walk. This game he's only got 1 strikeout. There's a swing and a foul, and Vance nearly came out of his shoes trying to hit that ball over the moon. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He fouled it off of David Wallace. The ball caromed off towards the Disciples' dugout. So the count 1-2 on Vance. Vance hit a ground ball to short his first time. 1 ball and 2 strikes as Tomek winds and deals. Curve fouled up the plate again. Still 1-2. Maybe that's the slider from Jan Tomek. Tomek, I mentioned he pitched for Curaçao Neptunus. He was the winning pitcher in the championship game of last year's European Cup. Wallace appeared to be a little shaken up after that foul ball, but the last thing the Disciples need is to lose another catcher. I think the next person who would catch should Wallace be injured would be Chris Ziegler, and last time he did that was 2014. 1-2, the pitch just off the plate away. Count now even 2-2. Manriquez deep at third, as is Nate Sean Thomas. Not expecting a bunt, even though Vance showed it once earlier in the at-bat. Tomek waiting for a sign he likes. Now he's got one. He starts the motion, the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball down and away. That was a good take from Vance. Looked like he was going to go after it, and then he laid off just at the last moment. Vance is always a tough out. He almost always seems to have a 3-ball, 2-strike count. And here it comes. Swing and a miss. He got him. Well, it was a good battle between Vance and Tomek, but Tomek wins. Let's look at the pitch again. That was a fastball running in on the hands of Vance, and he just sort of swung over the top of it. So there are 2 down. Second strikeout for Tomek. That will bring up Eric Harms. Harms struck out his first time. Right-hand hitter with power. No score at top of the 4th inning. And Tomek's pitch. A curve in there for a strike, top of the zone on the inside corner. Not a great location, but Harms was looking for a fastball. So it's a free strike, 0-1. Next one on the way. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Tomek dialing it up a notch there on that last pitch. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Top of the 4th, no score. Tomek's pitch. Fastball just missed the outside corner. He tried to start it outside and run it back. Perfect spot, but it was a little bit outside, possibly low as well. The 1-2. chopped up the third base side foul. And we'll do it again. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 down in the inning. Nobody on base. Jan Tomek has only allowed 2 base runners, a single and a hit batter. Bill Greenfield has been just as stingy, only allowing a single. Here's the pitch. That's lined into left field. That's a base hit for Harms. Sean Thomas was shading him up the middle, and that ball was lined more towards the hole between short and third, so a 2-out single. And Harms is on first base, and that will bring up Alex Schmidt. Second base hit allowed by Jan Tomek. And with 2 strikes, that's probably not the pitch location you want. Got too much of the plate. I think he tried to go to that fastball inside, and he left it too much over the plate. And Harms was ready for it and smacked it into left field. So he's on first with 2 down. That'll bring up Alex Schmidt. Schmidt was hit by a pitch his first time, and then he was forced out at third to end the inning. Right-hand hitter. Tomek working from the stretch now, checking on Harms, who has got his hands on his knees, being held on by Ziegler. The pitch in the dirt, and that one skips away from Wallace. Harms is going to take second base, and he will stop there. That's going to be a wild pitch for sure. That ball bouncing well in front of David Wallace. Not much he could really do on this one. Although he did try to backhand it, didn't drop his body down, but the pitch was in the dirt, so that's going to be a wild pitch. 1 ball, no strikes to count to Alex Schmidt. So Schmidt with a 1-0 count, and now Regensburg with a chance to take the lead. They have Harms in scoring position with 2 outs. And the pitch to Schmidt. Big chopper foul into the Disciples dugout. Strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Tomek had 2 strikes on Harms and then gives up the single. Now Harms on the wild pitch is in scoring position. Let's see if Tomek can get out of this, or if Regensburg can take advantage of the situation. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Top of the 4th, no score. And the pitch from Tomek. Breaking ball missed outside. Good take by Alex Schmidt. The count 2 balls and 1 strike. Tomek in his last start versus Legionäre pitched 7 2/3 innings. And ended up with a loss. There's a bouncing ball left side to the hole. Base hit into left field. Harms being waved around. Here's Wallace's throw to the plate. It is offline and not in time. And taking second base on the play is Schmidt. It is 1-0 Regensburg on an RBI single off the bat of Alex Schmidt. A good throw, and they might have had a chance. A little bouncing ball, seeing eye ground ball past Sean Thomas, who tried to keep it on the infield, could not. And with 2 outs, you knew, of course, that they were going to send the runner Harms, and he indeed scores. So Regensburg leads 1-0. As Schmidt singles, gets a run batted in, he takes second base on the throw, and that will bring up David Grimes. I was mentioning that start that Tomek had against the Legionäre his last time. He ended up giving up 5 runs, only 3 of which were earned, but a lot of that was because he was simply in the ballgame for too long. The pitch is inside for ball 1 to Grimes. He had been pitching wonderfully until the 8th inning in that game, and the Disciples are trying to stretch him as much as possible. They don't have so much depth in their bullpen now. But he's been great, Jan Tomek. There's the 1-0. That's a strike at the knees in the outside corner to Grimes. 1 ball, 1 strike. Grimes is 1 for 1. He singled. Schmidt, the runner on second base. There are 2 down. Here's the pitch. And a good curve. That's taken for strike 2 on the outside corner. Wallace that time was moving around quite a bit from behind the plate. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Schmidt on second. And the pitch on the way to Grimes. Little tapper as he fights one off. That was another well-located pitch from Tomek. And Grimes just able to get enough of it to stay alive. Simon Lechner out of the dugout to retrieve that foul ball for the Disciples. It is 1-0 Regensburg. We are in the top of the fourth. There are 2 outs. Tomek has slowed his pace a little bit here. Here's the 1-2. Ground ball to the right side. Klein, a nice big bounce, fields and throws, and that will end the inning. But the wild pitch is a factor, and that led to the run. So 2 singles, 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors, and 1 man left on base. It is 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Regensburg leads. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD.
Fußballturnier oder Familienausflug? V-Klasse? Vito? Sprinter als Mehrsitzer? Egal was du vorhast, bei uns passen sie alle rein. Dein Mietwagen zum Discounterpreis.
We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Regensburg 1, Haar 0. Bill Greenfield will face 2, 3, and 4. Richard Klein, Luke Steinlein, and Christoph Ziegler. All 3 are 0 for 1. And Klein, who popped out on a bunt attempt his first time, is going to try out the second time against Bill Greenfield. Greenfield has been good through the first 3, giving up only a single and a walk, so just 2 base runners. And Richie Klein, who has a couple home runs this year, steps up, and the right-hand batter takes a strike from the left-hand pitcher on the outside corner. 0-1. Klein hitting at .232, but he does have a couple home runs, as I mentioned, and he lines that into left field for a clean base hit. So the Disciples have a base runner. And that will bring up Luke Steinlein. Steinlein didn't really have much of a chance to give you his numbers either. He's hitting at .246. 32 hits in 130 at-bats. He's drawn 18 walks. He struck out 25 times, however. But he's been sort of a key offensive attack, key part of the offensive attack in the past few years for the Disciples, and he looks at a strike from Greenfield, 0-1. Last year he had batted over 300. There's nobody out. Bottom of the 4th inning, Richard Klein is on first, very short lead. And the pitch from Greenfield. There's that breaking ball. That one went around the plate outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Klein's lead is virtually non-existent. Richie is pretty fast from base to base. His sprint speed is pretty fast, but he does not get a great jump. And he doesn't take big leads, so it's difficult for him to steal bases. 1 ball, 1 strike, and the pitch. There's a slow chopper towards third. Sakaza has it, goes to first for the out there as Klein makes it to second base. That ball was hit too slowly. Richie was actually going back to first base as that pitch was being delivered. But because the ball was so slowly hit, no chance for a double play. And Sakaza takes the shore out at first. And so now that's actually important. Richard Klein, now the tying run. He's in scoring position. And Chris Ziegler, who's one of the leading hitters for the Disciples, will step up to the plate, hitting .315. He does have a home run and 2 triples along with 8 doubles. So he's slugging .435. He struck out his first time against the left-hander Greenfield, though. And the pitch. And he tries to lay down a bunt with Sakaza back, and he fouled it back, strike 1. Ziegler is one of the guys that can drive the ball to the outfield, but he's very quick. If he gets on, he can wreak havoc on the base paths. There's 1 strike and 1 out in the inning. Runner on second base is Richard Klein. And Greenfield comes set. And the pitch is low inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Greenfield got Ziegler his first time swinging at those breaking balls down and away. That time he came in with a fastball. The first pitch that Ziegler bunted foul was a breaking ball, I believe. 1-1. Here's the pitch. A little tapper behind the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This time he's attacking him with more fastballs. And you know that Ziegler, in the back of his mind, trying to anticipate when that breaking ball might be coming. So right now Greenfield is sort of trying to outfox Ziegler. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The pitch. There's the breaking ball. Swing and a miss. And you knew it was coming at some point in that at-bat. And Greenfield kept it in his back pocket until he was ahead of Ziegler with 2 strikes. And that's an important second out. A very good pitch for Greenfield, and that will bring up Ruben Manriquez. Manriquez has been clutch for the Disciples. He's come up with 3 game-winning hits, including against the Heide Cup, hitting only .229 though. But the timing of his hits has been great, and now he's got a chance to drive home a run. Runner on second base, Richard Klein. Breaking ball is outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Klein is the tying run. 1-0 Regensburg. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. 2 outs. This ball game started exactly an hour ago. Greenfield from the stretch checks on Klein. A long look. Now he deals to the plate. And he just missed down and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Again, he started with the breaking ball and then went to the fastball. The Disciples, for them to be successful, they need to come through in situations like this. They have not had a potent offensive attack, but they've had good timely hits all year. The pitch is a strike on the inside corner. Manriquez was looking way out over the plate and twisted his body in. Thought the ball was too far inside, but pitch is a strike. And the count 2-1. Manriquez stands very close to the plate. There's the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a foul tip. That was a slider, I believe, from Greenfield. And the count now even 2-2. Ruben looked like he really let it fly on that one. He was trying to go downtown. Harms in left field is way off the left field line. They're not playing Manriquez as if he's going to pull the ball. Amon in center field is actually shaded a few steps towards the right. And Vance in right field is pretty much straight away. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Klein off second. The pitch. Line drive. That's a base hit to left center field. Klein being waved around. And the ball is juggled in left field. The throw way offline. We are tied. Manriquez on his way to second base. The throw there not in time. 1-1. Well, Eric Harms juggled the ball momentarily, and then he wound up and fired it way up the first baseline. And so Ruben Manriquez continues to come through in the clutch for the Disciples. An RBI single. He went down and got a pitch that was low and lined it over the shortstop Schmidt into left center field. And Klein with 2 outs off the crack of the bat. We're tied at 1. And now Manriquez is the go-ahead run at second base for Miguel Pinheiro, the designated hitter. Pinheiro grounded out his first time. And Bill Greenfield working from the stretch. The pitch to Miguel is high, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. So both teams trading single runs, and in fact the line score is identical, 1-3-0 for both teams. Manriquez off second. The pitch fouled back here in the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dennis Wallace runs in to retrieve that foul ball. Pinheiro grounded to short his first time. Greenfield holding the stretch. And the 1-1 pitch on the way. It's low in the dirt. Good block by Jonathan Heimler. That pitch, a breaking ball down and in. And Pinheiro not biting. Miguel Pinheiro, by the way, in 31 games, hitting .241. He has 1 triple and 6 doubles among his 27 hits. And the 2-1 pitch. Hopped foul out of play. The count now even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. There are 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. 1-1 the score. Beautiful sunny day here in Haar. Greenfield is set. 2-2 to Pinheiro. Manriquez off second. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Foul tipped into the mid of Heimler. And 2 strikeouts in the inning for Greenfield. He's got 3 in the ballgame, but the Disciples get 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors and 1 man left on base. At the end of 4 complete, we're tied at 1. This is Haar Disciples Baseball präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. We go to the top of the 5th inning, tie ball game at 1, and now, continuing in the tradition of bringing in special guests, I want to introduce a buddy of mine, guy that I met 5 years ago on one of my first broadcasts. You were actually playing, and Mr. Dan Jenselson, welcome to the broadcast. How you doing?
Doing well. It's good to be here. Excited to join you here in the broadcast.
So you are a Füssen Royal Bavarian, right?
That is correct.
I remember as Jan Tomek dealing. First pitch to Jose Palacios, breaking ball, strike, 0-1. Palacios and then Jonathan Heimler, and then the top of the order, Lucas Jan, 8-9-1. Tie ball game at 1. And Tomek's next pitch is low and outside, 1-1. I remember the second game I ever broadcast was in Garching. Garching Atomics allowed me to practice a couple times. And you were playing shortstop for the Füssen Royal Bavarians. Simon Lechner was playing. Sylvan Sacek was in the game, I remember. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2. And I remember you made a couple of diving plays at shortstop. So
I didn't know you were broadcasting that game, so this is news to me.
I think you can still find it on, well, yeah, it's still on the Sport Deutschland TV website, I believe, buried somewhere in their baseball section. But
wow.
I can send you a copy if you want. Here's the 1-2. Curveball, got him. 3 curveballs, 3 strikes for Jan Tomek. That was an excellent sequence to Jose Palacios. There's 1 away. That'll bring up Jonathan Heimler. So anyway, you're from Texas, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I was born in Mexico, lived there for 13 years, and then moved to Texas.
Oh, cool.
And now here in Germany.
And so what's the best Mexican restaurant in Füssen?
I don't know if there is one.
Jonathan Heimler steps up and takes a breaking ball, down low, ball 1.
There are a couple of Mexican places here in Munich, though, that I like. Some burritos.
Okay.
So
you want to give some free advertising? Maybe we can get some free tacos out of it later. Here's the 1-0. Bouncing ball to deep third, backhanded by Manriquez. Long throw across the diamond is picked beautifully by Ziegler, and that's the second out of the inning.
Wow, what a beautiful play. Manriquez making the play on defense after tying the game last inning. So doing it a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that was a tough play. He had to really throw it. We can take a look at it on the replay as Lucas Jan steps up to the plate. But, yeah, he really had a long throw ahead of him.
Yeah, seen kind of throw off balance right there. Couldn't get his feet set, but he still made a strong throw to first base to get the out.
And so Lucas Jan, who has seen a total of 2 pitches in both of his plate appearances. One he hit to deep right field. The other one he hit to the pitcher's mound. And this time he takes the ball, 0-1. So how long have you been playing in Fusen? At least 5 years, because that's
Well,
how long ago it was.
I haven't been here the whole time. I was
Right.
here for 2 seasons back then, and then I came back after 4 years.
Okay.
So this will be my 3rd season, kind of. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
But I've been here about 2 months this time.
How's the season going for the Royal Bavarians this year?
Doing pretty well. We're actually in a break right now.
There's a curveball, strike 2, 1-2 on Lucas Jan.
We have a summer break, which is, you know, kind of new coming from the U.S., but we have a summer break, and then we start playoffs in September.
Yeah, and they're in the second Bundesliga, correct? Or is it Regionalliga? I forget. The pitch is low, 2-2.
We're actually in the Landesliga right now.
Okay.
We're trying to get back into, now it's the Bayernliga, not the Regionalliga.
Okay.
So a couple changes here and there, but, you know, we have a good team now, and hopefully we get the win in the playoffs and move up one league.
Lucas Jan with a 2-ball, 2-strike count, 2 outs, and Tomek's pitch. This is a little flare to short right center field. That's going to drop, a base hit. Lucas Jan went down and got that one.
Good piece of hitting right there with 2 outs, 2 strikes, just trying to put the bat on the ball and hit it where they ain't, right?
We can see where that pitch was, too. It was a 2-2 pitch from Tomek. And I think it might have been a changeup.
Can't really tell. Yeah, can't really tell there, but it was a good piece of hitting. Get the 2-out runner right now and get the next hitter up.
That's how they scored last inning, a 2-out base hit to Eric Harms, and then a wild pitch put him in scoring position, and then Alex Schmidt with the RBI single, and now Nino Sakaza, who is 0 for 2, steps up, and the pitch, line drive, off the glove of a leaping Manriquez down the third base line. It's a base hit, and it trickles into left field, and that's going to result on runners on first and third. Little looping liner.
And just out of the reach, like you say, I think that hit the top of his glove. And when you're playing defense and you see that, it's just such a bad feeling. You're so close, but you can't get there.
Yeah, and probably, I mean, obviously there's nothing he can do about that, but if he doesn't hit that ball, that might have stopped the runner at second base because it sort of trickled into left field, and left fielder Dennis Wallace had a long way to go get that ball, and that gave Lucas Jan plenty of time to cross all the way to third. So now first and third with 2 outs, possible running situation. The hitter now Pascal Amon, and he takes a strike at the knees. Runner on first base is Nino Sakaza. A lot of times in the Bundesliga you'll see, you know, running plays, even with 2 outs. Maybe the runner take off from first and try to get the run home from third.
Trying to create a run, you know, 2 outs, get something going.
There's a throw to first as Tomek was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, trying to keep an eye on that runner at first.
Sakaza is at first, Jan is at third, both with pretty good speed. Sakaza extending his lead ever so slightly. Not going, the pitch, fouled away. And the count very quickly, no balls and 2 strikes on Amon. This is kind of a situation where as the pitcher, you can't get too bogged down with the runners on first and third. You have to remember there's 2 outs and you're already 2 strikes ahead of the hitter. Just make your pitch, right?
Exactly, way ahead. So if you can just make the right pitch, you can get out of the inning and get back in the dugout to hit.
Amon, a guy who can make you pay, though. He has 3 home runs. The pitch. Swing and a squibber off the end of the bat to the left of the mound, fielded by Tomek. The throw to first is in time, and he really fired it, too.
That wasn't an easy play either. That was the ball was spinning a little weird, but he made a good play and get the out.
Yeah, that's sometimes a tough thing to do, like a play like that when the ball hits the bat in such a strange way. You just never know. Sometimes it's tough to pick up, to get the grip on or whatever, and Tomek made sure he got the out at first. So no runs on 2 hits. There were no errors and 2 left on base at the end of 4.5. This ball game flying by. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and we are tied at 1. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. No score, excuse me, 1-1 the score. It's not a scoreless game. There's been 2 runs on the board. 1 run on 5 hits for the Legionäre, 1 run on 3 hits for the Disciples. And Dennis Wallace, number 7 hitter, takes a strike against Bill Greenfield. It'll be Dennis and then his brother David, followed by Jan Andriat.
It has been a quick game, so maybe it does seem like it's a scoreless.
Yeah. There's a breaking ball lined up the middle, base hit, just past the right ear of William Greenfield.
There's another leadoff hit for the Haar Disciples. They started last inning with the leadoff hit, and they scored a run. So see if they can do that again.
Yeah, Wallace looked like he hit maybe a hanging slider or something, hit it off the end of the bat, but still hit it hard. Wallace, he's been a guy all year. He really struggled at the beginning of the year, and then he had a few games with success, and he's been improving ever since. But man, when he connects, he definitely has some power. And his brother, showing bunt, takes a pitch outside. David Wallace, ball 1.
You see if he gets the bunt sign here with the runner on first, leadoff guy, no outs. Try to move him over, and also you can try to bunt for a hit as well.
Yeah, the third baseman, Sakaza, is expecting bunt. He's at the edge of the grass. But if he gets it down here, you want to get down to the right side of the infield. Here's the pitch, and he pushes it that way, and it's foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, you see him. That's exactly what he's trying to do, bunt it to the first base side, and that's what you're taught to do if you're bunting with the runner on first. Third baseman's in. Got a lot of room over there on the right side.
Not great speed between Dennis and David Wallace, but good athleticism. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wallace, very short lead off first, and the pitch bunted. This one back towards the mound, but Greenfield takes the shore play to first. He might have had a shot.
There was a slight, maybe a little bit of a chance at second base, but he decided to go for the sure out, and that's probably the right decision.
Yeah, you don't want to risk having 2 on and nobody out with the number 9 hitter coming up, because then Andriat would definitely be bunting. But the bunt, yeah, just enough to the right of the pitcher's mound that it caused that little hesitation in Greenfield. So, again, the Disciples with the runner in scoring position. Jan Andriat, who singled his first time, steps up to the sounds of Rock the Casbah. Pretty sure he didn't pick that one. I think he might be too young for that. The pitch is taken for a strike.
They do play some great music here in Haar. I've noticed. I've been here a few times and play some good music.
Well, it greatly depends on who the stadium announcer is. I can tell you that. 0-1 on Andriat. Here's the pitch. Just missed inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And after the bunt, you have a runner in scoring position. You have 2 chances to get a hit, get the run in, so you like your chances right here.
With the third baseman back, and Andriat, a guy who's struggled in the past. There's a swing and a foul, swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now there's 2 strikes. I was going to say, Andriat, he wouldn't be a bad candidate for bunting for a base hit, even with an out. But now with 2 strikes, I don't think you'll see that. The 1-2 pitch from Greenfield. Wallace creeping off second. The pitch on the way. Breaking ball outside. 2-2 now. Well,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if you're Greenfield, you probably want a ground ball to the left side. That means the runner has to stay at second. And he shoots one the other way to the first baseman, Grimes, who fields it on 1 hop to take it to the bag. And that, at the very least, even though there are 2 down, puts Dennis Wallace on third base.
Ideally, in that situation, you'd want to hit that with nobody out, but, still get the job done, and it's a productive out.
Yeah, and now you got Nathan Thomas at the top of the order. Thomas has walked and grounded out. Thomas is a guy, he does not bat very often from the right side. I don't know exactly what the splits are, but he's hitting 280 on the season, but most of that is as a left-handed hitter. And the pitch from Greenfield. That's a good fastball at the knees.
And that's very tough as a switch hitter. I'm a switch hitter as well, and you practice from both sides, but you can't simulate, a live pitching, so you don't see as many lefties, and it's difficult.
There's the 0-1. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball down and in. Thomas behind 0-2. Yeah, I mean, I often wondered, I had a lot of friends in high school when I played. I'm a left-handed pitcher. Well, I was a left-handed pitcher.
Still
Let's be honest.
Still are.
Yeah, I think like one. Can't throw it anymore. But, well, let's see. 0-2. Let's hold off on that for a moment. There's a breaking ball, and that was a beauty. Backdoor, no question, and Thomas is going to have to take a seat. So we'll continue with the pleasantries in the next half inning. The Disciples do not score. They get one base runner, however, and leave him on base. No runs, one hit, no errors, and one left on. We go to the 6th inning already. It's only an hour and 15 minutes into this game, and we're tied at 1. Hard Disciples Baseball is präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. To the top of the 6th inning. Tied at 1 here in Haar. 1 run, 5 hits, no errors for the Legonäre. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Disciples. And for the Legonäre, they're going to start with Matt Vance, the cleanup hitter. And Tomek throws him a first pitch curve, and it's too far inside, ball 1. Vance, and then Eric Harms and Alex Schmidt. Tomek at 72 pitches now. There's a curveball, bounced foul, and it's pretty clear how he's attacking Vance. He's thrown him almost nothing but curveballs.
And going back to that at bat last inning to Thomas, we were talking about facing lefty.
Yes, as a switch hitter.
You know, you don't see those curveballs. Even in the batting cage, you're hitting right-handed. You don't see those curveballs, so that's why it's so difficult.
There's a shot pulled foul down the left field line. Vance a little bit too quick on that fastball.
If you're a pitcher right now, you're just saying, okay, that's strike 2, you know, so move on. You're ahead in the count and make a good pitch right here.
Hey, you're thinking, well, let him feel good for that one.
Exactly.
1 ball, 2 strikes. There's nobody out. We are in the top of the 6th inning, tied at 1. And Tomek's pitch. Curveball bounced back to Tomek, and he somehow finds it in his glove and shovels it to first. 1 down.
And was able to feel this position right there. Actually, I saw it off the bat, and I thought it was through. Somehow it ended up in his glove for the out.
Yeah, it sort of skipped right up there, and Tomek had his glove down. It was a good thing it was hit to his gloved side.
Always the important first out of the inning, you know, get it rolling.
So now Eric Harms. Harms singled, and that single started a 2-out rally in the 4th inning as he reached second on a wild pitch and then later scored on the base hit to Alex Schmidt. Check swing. He went around, says home plate umpire Alex Wagner. Strike 1.
That's a good pitch on the inside part of the plate, and not much you can do as a hitter.
Tomek's been locating his pitches very well. He's been running that tailing fastball in on the hands off the plate to right-hand hitters, and then throwing that breaking ball down and away like that. But this time Harms did not chase it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, that's a good take right there. If you're protecting the inside part of the plate, you see that pitch breaking late, but good take.
1-1. And the pitch. That missed low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. The other thing Tomek has been doing, not just today, but pretty much all year long, is when he's missing, he's not missing in the fat part of the back.
Sorry, just dealing with some technical difficulties here. But a 2-out swinging bunt for Regensburg gets a runner on base with 2 outs. So Harms is at first base with 2 outs. And we're trying to take care of everything here. But Schmidt is at first base, and now Grimes is at the plate. Another pickoff attempt at first base. Close play, but safe, says the umpire. Tomek looks at first base and goes there over again. Not as close this time. Runner's called safe. You hear the crowd going wild for that pickoff at first base, but nothing to do over there.
You're still on.
Trying to fix whatever happened over here on the field. But no balls, no strikes to Grimes with 2 outs, top of the 6th inning. Another pickoff attempt. And Ziegler has to make a good pickoff over there at first base, but runner still safe at first. That's 4 consecutive pickoffs for Tomek. Tomek goes to the plate this time, and it's hit to right field, and that's going to be foul for strike 1. Steinlein chased after that ball, but it went foul for strike number 1 for Tomek and the Disciples.
Everything's working, but the center field camera is not going back. I'm trying to figure out why.
Schmidt was running on the pitch and was almost at third base by the time that ball landed in foul territory.
It's just sometimes you need to like restart it to get the signal back, you know. I'm going to unplug it one more time. Oh, wait, no, you're not. Shoot. You're live. You can talk.
We're back here. 0-2 pitch is a slider outside, and Grimes just holds off for ball 1 after asking the umpire at first base. He says no swing. So the count is now 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Yeah, I unplugged it a couple times.
As we continue to work here trying to fix everything, we apologize. Tomek takes a look at first base. The pitch misses outside with the slider. Count out 2-2 for Grimes.
That was weird, like the power just went out on that thing.
Deuce is wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs for Grimes at the plate. Wind up. The pitch is just a bit outside there.
Oh, maybe we're just going to be without center field camera.
And now will be a full count for Grimes. See the runner moving.
That does suck.
Full count, 2 outs. Tomek having to make some difficult pitches here. See Christoph Stigler at first base backing up. And the payoff pitch is hit to shortstop, but Tomek makes a nice play. Throws it over to first base, and he will be out. Nice stretch by Christoph Stigler at first base for out number 3.
Who was that just rounded up?
So in the top of the 6th inning, no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. Going to the bottom of the 6th inning.
1-1.
It is 1-1 in the bottom of the 6th inning.
then this is you.
So Tim is still trying to fix the center field camera again for us here. So I'll be jumping in with Dan here for a little bit until Tim gets back here.
We have some technical difficulties, but we're trying to take care of it.
I'm sure Tim will make it work again. We're here in the bottom of the 6th inning, still 1-1 tie here. We're seeing a real good pitchers duel here by Bill Greenfield on the mound for the Legonäre and Jan Tomek for the Disciples, and they're really doing their job. I mean, both teams getting runners on base at times, but nobody really able to create too much of a pressure those last couple of innings.
Yeah, really stopping all the damage with some good pitches, good plays. Actually, Tomek makes some good plays on defense as well, helping out himself.
Definitely did. Fouled off to the right side there by Richard Klein.
And it's also flying by. It's been such a quick game. Oh, and the 2-2 pitch with a nice breaking curveball there to get the first out of the inning. Man, nasty pitch right there from Greenfield.
You're getting that first out against Richard Klein, who had singled and scored the only Disciples run so far. That was in the 4th inning. Brings up Luke Steinlein, who made a really great play in the 1st inning defensively up against that right field fence there, catching that ball on the first pitch that Lucas Jan drilled out there and really keeping him off the bases there. That was important right away. And offensively, 0 for 2 so far. Flew out and grounded out.
Yeah, we've definitely seen some good defense from both teams. A couple nice plays at third base, first base.
And Greenfield gets a strike in there.
Really commanding both sides of the plate right now, going inside, outside, changing speeds. I think that looked like a changeup that just missed down. Good take from Steinlein.
So let's see what he comes back with here. Ground it, left side. Linus Akasa, indecisiveness whether he was going in on that or backing up on it, and got by him there.
Yeah, and as an infielder, you always taught to go get the ball, and anytime you kind of take that step back, you're asking for trouble, and that's exactly what happened. He took that step back with the left foot, and ball kind of ate him up and allows the runner to get on first base with 1 out. Maybe some danger here for the Disciples.
Yeah, that's going to be an E5, it looks like, on the scoreboard. It's a tough play for Linus Akasa over there, but it's a play that he himself will definitely say he should make. Brings up Ziegler with 1 on, 1 out. First pitch in there for a strike.
And you see Greenfield really feeling comfortable with that curveball, starting off Ziegler.
And Tim has got the center field camera back for us.
Oh, perfect. Going through hoops for us. For you, the fans out there.
Took a little walk there.
And you see Greenfield just missing outside with that fastball, and after seeing the breaking ball, that fastball looks so much faster if you're a hitter. So trying to keep him off balance, but now it's a 1-1 count for Ziegler.
Heimler just getting that one.
Yeah, that was a nice block again on that breaking ball. If you're throwing so many breaking balls, you really have to trust your catcher to do the work back there and block, and
yeah,
especially with the runner on first base.
Yeah, you really need to have the confidence to be able to throw that breaking ball in the dirt as well, because if you don't have confidence in your catcher, you just can't throw that pitch as well as you could. There's another strike.
And that one, it was more of a slider right there. It's a little bit slower, but faster than the breaking ball, and just keeping the hitters off balance with all those pitches.
So it's a 2-2 count on Ziegler, and he runs the count full.
And that's a very good take from Ziegler right there with 2 strikes. You see the breaking ball again, and it looks good right out of his hand, and just drops out of the zone at the end. But good take from Ziegler, and now it's a full count. See if the runner is moving.
He is, and the ball's lined towards right field. Matt Vance has it, and we'll get it back in here for the second out.
And we saw the runner moving, and good contact from Ziegler, but right at the right fielder. Vance. So unfortunate for the Disciples. But good pitch there from Greenfield for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, Ziegler hit it pretty well, but pretty much straight at Matt Vance, who just had to move a little bit back and was a rather easy out for them in the outfield there. That brings up Manriquez now with 2 down and a runner still in first base.
You know, the way this game is going, a lot of times it comes down to those 2-out hits, and if you can get those runs in. So I wonder if maybe Steinlein will be on the move here early in the count to get in scoring position for Manriquez.
He has good speed, so he could definitely be on the move. I mean, there he is. Actually just took a couple of quick steps.
Trying to fake us out here.
Good, it works. Sweet.
So Tim is back. That means I can go back to just watching the game. Have fun, folks.
Vielen Dank, Toby. Man, it's a good thing. It's a good thing there's a nice community of people here in Germany to help with the broadcast.
Yeah.
So, everything works.
All right, yeah, good job. I don't know what
Toby,
you did, but
Toby, you had a complaint. You forgot to say presented by MSD. So, what's going on? Manriquez is at the plate with Steinlein, looks like, on first base.
we got 2 outs, yeah. 2 outs and Manriquez at the plate, 1-1. And we're talking about those important 2-out runs, see if they can get one right here, especially the way the game's going.
Yeah, this one might be another one of those Ruben Manriquez walk-offs in the 9th inning. Pitch is low. There's a lot of strange-looking handwriting in my scorebook now. What is this very simple? Oh, that's a K. Okay, all right, there we go. All right, so pitch. There's a line shot. That is a base hit into left center field. Steinlein on his way to third. Nope, he will stop at second. That was a carbon copy of Manriquez's last base hit.
Yeah, man, and that one was just a hard line drive over the short, just out of the reach of the shortstop Schmidt for a 2-out hit, and see if now with the runner in scoring position they can get something going.
And Miguel Pinheiro now with runners on first and second. I love all the comments that I'm seeing in the chat. I did enjoy my walk in the park. Thank you very much. Although I stepped on some of those poison leaves that they have.
Oh gosh.
The nettles. But I should have known better. Meanwhile, a meeting on the mound. Paco Garcia out to chat with Bill Greenfield. Greenfield in this game has thrown in the vicinity of 87, 88 pitches. We don't know how updated the game changer is. It might be a pitch or 2 behind, but still pretty good in terms of pitch count. 2 down here in the 6th.
And you think he's been, with those kind of pitches in the 6th inning, he could go a few more innings depending on how everything goes. But he's looked he's looked well and keeping the hitters off balance, really.
Yeah, I think that discussion was probably just more strategic. You know, be careful with Pinheiro, but you have to also remember who's behind him in the order. There's a swing and a miss. Went right after him with a fastball.
Man, he was, yeah, you weren't joking. He challenged him right there with the fastball, and Pinheiro just missed it.
One strike the count. We are tied at 1. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Greenfield from the stretch, 2 on and 2 out. Here's the pitch. There goes Steinlein for third, and he's going to take it. No play. He was running before Greenfield even looked. Steinlein will do that. He looks for those opportunities to get an extra base, and he's very alert on the base paths, and he stole third uncontested.
Yeah, I mean, nothing the catcher right there, Heimlich, could do. It's just stealing that base off the pitcher, and also smart by Pinheiro not to swing because, you know, he had it easily.
I mean, you never want to make the last out at third base, but if they're going to give it to you, you might as well take it. So now they hold Manriquez on at first. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's a fastball right through there, letter high. 1-2 now.
And it's always difficult as a runner at first base because you don't have the sign for the steal. But if if maybe you saw the runner take off and you can go and get in scoring position as well. But
Manriquez much slower than Steinlein. They would have had a pretty good chance to get him, I think. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball, ground ball down the third baseline. It is fielded by Sakaza, sets his feet and fires and gets him at first base. So the inning is over. The error and the single notwithstanding, no runs. On 1 hit, 1 error, 2 left on base for the Disciples. We go to the 7th inning here in Haar. We're still tied at 1. Thanks again, Toby, for your help And yeah, Dan, thanks also for your help covering for me while I was running around. There was basically what happened was there was a brief power outage in the entire ballpark. Everything went out, and what happens when that happens? You have to go and push the on button on the camera, and so I had to run all the way out to center field and hit the on button and come back. So yeah, that was the problem. Anyway, we're going to go to the 7th inning, tied at 1. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. First pitch to Jose Palacios is ball 1 from Jan Tomek. It is tied at 1. We're in the top of the 7th inning. It'll be Palacios and then Jonathan Heimler and Lucas Jan, 8, 9, and 1. And that pitch is taken low, ball 2, 2-0. Tomek so far in this ball game has allowed 6 hits, a run, no walks. He struck out 4. And the 2-0, that is taken high. Palacios taking all the way.
He's looked good today and starting off right now on the top of the 7th. 3 balls, no strikes, but see if he can get it back.
Tomek about to throw, I believe, his 90th pitch. And it's a strike, 3-1. Tomek, this 90 pitches for him is nothing. His last few starts, he's almost always going 125, 130. And so, you know, he's trying to conserve as much as he can because his job basically is to pitch the whole game. There's a chopper pulled down the third baseline, foul, and the count now full. Good effort by Kai Gronauer, the third base coach. He stood there and watched the ball go between his legs.
Yeah, went right through his legs.
You know, you got to save your energy also as the third base coach, you know, just in case you got to wave a guy home if you're too tired, you know.
Yeah, it's a tight game. You never know.
3-2. Nobody out. The pitch. A line drive right field, long run for Steinlein. He dives and he can't get it. The ball goes behind him. Palacios off to the races. He's on his way to second base, and he will stop there with a double. Steinlein came very close to making a nice diving catch, but alas, it's a leadoff double for Jose Palacios.
Good effort there from Steinlein, but just came up short, and it's a leadoff double.
3-2 pitch from Tomek. It was it looked like might have been a fastball. Tailed kind of in on Palacios, who inside-outed it. And there was a moment as he was running to second base where it looked like he was maybe going to think about 3, but then he wisely stopped at second base. And we're going to have a pinch runner. So pinch runner for Jose Palacios, and that's going to be Jeff Arndt. So Jeffrey Arndt will come in and pinch run. Palacios is now out of the game in the designated hitter spot.
And I don't know these guys too well, but you would assume that this guy has some pretty good speed, and he's the go-ahead run now in scoring position, so a base hit should score him here.
Now, Palacios also has sort of been plagued by some leg injuries, I believe, throughout the season, so this could also be related to that. Palacios obviously had a good day yesterday, and now he leads off the 7th with a double.
So now you have I see it's a nine-hole hitter. See if they're going to choose to bunt here, or they're just going to let him swing away, try to hit the ball to the right side.
And you can see the conversation between Nate Sean Thomas and the third baseman Ruben Manriquez was probably exactly about that, whether the Disciples maybe try to put the wheel play on. Thomas is shading Heimler up the middle. Manriquez at the edge of the grass at third, and a lift to the leg, and that was to see if the batter was going to show bunt, which he didn't.
It kind of looked like maybe he was shifting his hands a little bit down. You never know, but he didn't really show it, which is what you want to do as a hitter. But
yeah, and usually in the obvious bunting situations, a lot of times they don't even try to hide it. They just, well, there's a curve on the first pitch, and he missed inside, ball one.
That looked like a good pitch from Tom, expecting a bunt, but no bunt, and it just missed, I believe, inside.
Yeah, it looked like Wallace maybe was setting up outside and had to shift his body across. 1 ball, no strikes. Tomek with Arndt on second base, and the pitch, another curve, and this one does get the inside corner, 1-1.
And I don't know if he's meaning to do this, but as a hitter, you're trying to hit to the right side, and both of those pitches have been on the inside part of the plate, trying to avoid that.
Right, and they're also off-speed pitches, which theoretically are easier to pull.
Exactly. So he's trying to get a ground ball to the left side, see if with 1 strike he offs the bunt.
1-1 pitch. A big chopper to third on 1 bounce to Manriquez. He checks the runner and throws across in time. Good play. That was a veteran play by Ruben Manriquez right there.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you wanted if you're the Disciples. Ground ball to the left side, kind of an unproductive out for Regensburg, and now that you got 1 out.
Yeah, Arndt didn't really have much of a chance to get off the bag at second. There's nothing he could do there. But Manriquez also was cognizant of the speed of the batter runner and knew that he had time to at least make a fake pump to check to see if Arndt might be caught off the base. It's not a bad play. It works in barbecue softball.
Yeah, I was going to say I haven't seen that very often, but it kind of worked. I feel like sometimes it's too much and you get, just thinking too much, but it worked. He did it all right and got the out.
So now Lucas Jan, 1 for 3, and time is called. Jan flied to deep right to lead off the ball game. Then he popped out, and then he singled and was stranded at third base in the 5th inning. He's got a chance to give the Legionäre the lead. Tied at 1. In the top of the 7th, the pitch. This ball hit high in the air to center field. Endriot drifting over. He's underneath it and makes the catch. And Arndt was not tagging and has to go back to second base.
And those are the little things that a lot of people don't notice. But if the previous hitter could have moved the runner over to third base, that's his job. And then this fly ball would have scored the run. But now with the runner at second base, fly ball is just a fly ball.
Yeah. Do you think Arndt should have tagged up on that play? I mean, he probably wasn't going to advance anyway.
Yeah, he wasn't going to advance, and I was thinking the same. He was going halfway. Maybe at least you go back to tag and try to draw a throw. But no, he was just playing as if it was going to drop maybe.
Which also, to be fair, if it did drop, you'd better score on that, right? So now Nino Sakaza with 2 outs and the runner at second base. Tomek trying to keep this ball game tied at 1. And the pitch. There's a ground ball to the right side, and Klein dives, and it's under his glove into right field. Arndt around third. Here's Steinlein's throw to the plate. Close play. No, the throw's offline. And Arndt scores. Regensburg leads 2-1.
And, man, that is a huge hit for Sakasa right there with 2 outs. I was just thinking how that first out for Regensburg was going to be a huge out, but then he comes through, picks up his teammate, and gets the run in.
Well, that's 2 base hits that were just under the glove of the Haar Disciples defender, both with 2 outs. Remember, Alex Schmidt's base hit gave the Legionäre the 1-0 lead. That was a 2-out little bleeder. This one, a bleeder to the right side. And Sakaza gets a run batted in. He's at first base for Pascal Amon. That's how close this ball game has been. It's come to just the placement of a couple of weak ground balls.
And, that's baseball. Sometimes it happens.
There was a pickoff attempt on Sakaza at first base. The ball trickling away from Ziegler, going up the first base line. Sakaza with 2 outs, maybe a threat to go. But you have Pascal Amon, the number 3 hitter at the plate. You probably want to be careful. You want to give him a few chances to drive the ball somewhere. Sakaza extending his lead. The pitch. There's a line drive. That's a base hit to right field. And Sakaza will make it to third base easily. Steinlein comes up with the ball and gets it back in. First and third with 2 outs here for the Legionäre. They have scored all of their runs, all two of them, with 2 outs.
Hey, but sometimes that's what it comes down to. You know, two-out hitting is so important, especially in these games that are so close, like we've seen today.
And Chris Howard making a very slow walk out to the mound. I doubt they're going to make a change here. Because Tomek, you figure he's still got plenty left in the tank. That was his 99th pitch that he just threw to Pascal Amon. And Chris Howard out there discussing things with Tomek, standing off to the first base side of the pitcher's mound.
It's funny you say that with 99 pitches, he's got plenty to go, because usually, you know, Major League Baseball, 99 pitches that's about the limit.
That's about the limit,
there.
Sure, but in the Bundesliga, I mean, every week you have guys throwing 140, sometimes more. Last year we saw Ryan Bollinger in the quarterfinal clinching game, 160 pitches.
Oh, man.
I know. It's a little old school here. I mean, it's kind of the way it was 40 years ago. You had your pitcher, and like that's it. Like he's going to finish the game, regardless of what happens. I mean, in the Disciples case, it's out of necessity.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? What the coach asks you to do, and if you're able to, why not?
And so now the hitter Matt Vance, first and third, and another pickoff attempt at first base. This time on Amon, and he is back. Matt Vance, a dangerous hitter at the plate with power, 5 home runs on the year. He's 0 for 3 today, though. Sakaz at third, Amon at first, and the pitch. Fastball is high. 1 ball, no strikes. Amon was going back to first base on that pitch from Tomek, which is odd when there's a right-hander on the mound.
Very interesting, and you know, there's always that fake to third going to first move, but I guess it got him.
I think that move is now illegal. There's the 1-0. Big chopper towards third. Manrique's glove sets his feet, fires, and gets Matt Vance by a step and a half to end the inning. And the Disciples escape only with 1 run crossing the plate, but that 1 run breaks the 1-1 tie. 1 run on 3 hits. There were no errors and 2 left on base. We are going to the bottom of the 7th inning. It is time to stretch here in Haar, 2-1 Regensburg. This is Haar Disciples Baseball präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. Bill Greenfield on the mound as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It is 2-1 Regensburg. Regensburg with 2 2-out runs, and Greenfield dealing with Dennis Wallace. And he deals a strike on the first pitch. Wallace has singled and flied out. He's 1 for 2. After Dennis, it'll be David Wallace and then Jan Endriat. 7, 8, 9 in the order for the Disciples, who have managed only 7 hits in the 2 games. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 2, foul tipped. They had 2 measly singles yesterday, and they have 5 singles today.
We saw last time Regensburg scored in the 4th inning. Hart came back in the bottom of the inning and tied it up, so we'll see if they can do that again.
Here's the 0-2 to Wallace. Inside, that one backs him off the plate a little bit. Greenfield has been great for the Legionäre today. 5 hits, just the 1 run, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Left-hander from Pennsylvania, and the 1-2. Got him swinging. Strikeout number 6.
And after the breaking ball, he goes back to the fastball, and you see Wallace a little bit late on that one for out number 1.
And that'll bring up David Wallace. He is 0 for 1 officially. He sacrificed his last at-bat. Greenfield is ready to rock on the mound, and the left-hander's pitch on the way right now is popped up off the end of the bat, slicing to the right side of the infield. Easy play for Grimes, and he makes the catch adjacent to the bag for the second out.
And if you're Regensburg right now, also right after scoring that run, you want to come out and get the quick 3 outs and get back into hitting, keep the momentum on your side.
Yeah, I guess a shutdown inning.
Exactly.
Is what people call that, if you give that any credence or not. So we have 2 down, and now Jan Endriat. Jan Endriat is 1 for 2 today. Rolled a single down the third baseline and then grounded back to the first baseman. The pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Greenfield has that sort of 3/4 delivery. He's got a very relaxed pitching motion. And this ball lined up the middle and through into center field for Endriat. He's got a 2-out single.
Great piece of hitting right there, going right back to where the ball came from. Hard line drive to center field. And try to get the 2-out rally going.
Yeah, and Greenfield almost caught that ball. It was just, looked like it was just inside the webbing of his glove. So now the top of the order, Nate Sean Thomas. There is activity in the bullpen. Looks like Johnny Eisenhut, if my eyes aren't playing tricks on me, is throwing in the bullpen down the right field line.
Man, you must be doing this quite a bit because I can't see anything. But
well, I can't see his number. I can just see his – it just looks like him. It's hard for me to say, you know. Johnny Eisenhut, who's originally from Solingen but has been a member of the Legonäre for, 5-6 years now. Usually wears the number 77. So I guess he's 2 notches above Aaron Judge.
How's the runner at first base? Does he have any speed here with 2 outs? Maybe get something going, or?
Endriat does have speed, but you know he hasn't really played that many games. This is his 4th game this year. And the Disciples have already had 1 runner thrown out at second base as the curveball is in for strike 1 to Nate Sean Thomas. But you're right, not the worst idea in the world. There you see Endriat's lead from first base. It's very short, being held on by David Grimes. And the pitch. Sliced to right field down the line. That is going to land fair and head towards the corner. It's extra bases for Thomas. Endriat is being waved around. Here's the throw, and Endriat is going to be held. Thomas rounded too far at second, and he just gets back. So a 2-out double, and now runners on second and third. I thought for sure they were going to send Endriat.
And I think the third base coach wanted to send him with 2 outs, but then he saw the throw come in, and I think that was the right call because it was a perfect throw to the catcher, and he probably would have been out.
Probably would have been out, and Thomas was halfway to third base, and he had to slam on the brakes.
And ideally in that situation, you want to send him, but I think it was the right call to stop him at third base.
Well, you've got Richard Klein coming up to the plate, and now this is a chance for Richie to not only tie the game but give the Disciples the lead. And Kai Grunauer has come out of the dugout to chat with Bill Greenfield. And it looks like he has made a move to the bullpen, and indeed he has. Bill Greenfield's day is done. It was a very good one. He's responsible for the 2 base runners aboard in scoring position right now, and Johnny Eisenhut will come on to try to end the threat here in the 7th inning. It is 2-1 Regensburg. We will take a break and be right back for this pitching change. Hard Disciples Baseball präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. Johnny Eisenhut is on in relief, and he has only pitched 12 2/3 innings this year. His ERA is over 11 with 7 walks, but he's given up 29 hits, so that's really been the problem. However, this will be his 3rd appearance versus the Disciples, and in 2 previous appearances, he has not given up any hits. Excuse me, he's given up a couple of hits, but no runs, so he's been scoreless against the Disciples, but he's had trouble with the Mainz Athletics and the Heidenheim Heideköpfe, as have many other teams. And so his job now is to get Richard Klein, his former teammate. And Richie, who's up there with runners on 2nd and 3rd. There are 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning, 2-1 Regensburg. This ball game entertaining all the way up to this point. Richie today does have a base hit in 3 trips. The first pitch, that's a slow curve, and it went over the strike zone for ball 1.
Saw the catcher right there holding the pitch, trying to really ask the umpire where that pitch missed.
So a 2-out chance for the Disciples, and you said it. And time has been called. The ball was on the field. It got loose from the bullpen, looks like, down the right field line. 2-1 Regensburg, bottom of the 7th inning, 2 outs. Good speed on the bases. And the pitch, fastball low, 2-0.
The first 2 pitches from Eisenhut have just missed barely in the zone, so not missing by much. But now 2-0, good count for the hitter right here.
Richie, all he needs is something to the outfield. And the pitch on the way. Curve, and that one hits the outside corner, 2 balls and 1 strike. Nice lively crowd. A lot of Regensburg fans are here too, so you're getting reactions after every pitch.
And it's good to see here, you know, people cheering and coming out and watching some baseball.
2-1. Breaking ball in the dirt, and it gets away briefly from Heimler, but not far enough for any advance. 3 balls and a strike, and you got Luke Steinlein on deck. Now the Disciples, you mentioned it, Jan Endriat with his base hit, possibly starting a 2-out rally. Nate Sean Thomas slicing a double down the right field line. That was a very good relay throw by Lucas Jan, and that resulted in Endriat being held at 3rd. 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs, 3-1 on Richard Klein. The pitch, low, ball 4. The bases are loaded.
I mean, that's tough when you're coming out of the bullpen. You have to, you know, tough situation. 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. They asked you to throw strikes, and he couldn't do that. So now the bases are loaded for a good hitter in Steinlein.
Steinlein today is 0 for 3. He reached on an error his last time. And, you know, he has patience, too. He might wait until there's a strike. The pitch, low. 1 ball, no strikes. There's pressure on Eisenhut now to throw strikes. If he walks another hitter, this ball game will be tied.
And if you're Steinlein right now, there's no reason for you to chase anything. You have to pick one spot in the zone, and if it's not there, just don't swing.
The 1-0 in the dirt, 2 balls and no strikes, and so far Eisenhut has thrown 1 strike since coming into the game.
And also Heimler behind the plate doing a good job. I think it's 2 pitches already in the dirt, and he's been able to block him and keep the runner over there at 3rd base.
Yeah, he did everything correct there where he sort of dropped his body. 2 balls, no strikes, bases loaded, 2 outs. The pitch. Outside, nowhere close, 3-0, and Steinlein will be taking here. And if it's outside the zone, this ball game will be tied.
I know the first few pitches we said he was barely missing the zone, but the last few pitches have actually been pretty far off.
That could be one of those things where you miss just by a bit and then you start to aim it. The 3-0. Low, ball 4. We are tied.
And then all of this with 2 outs for the Disciples.
So Endriat, who started the rally with that little single up the middle, he comes home to score the tying run. Thomas goes to 3rd. Klein goes to 2nd. Steinlein with an RBI walk. Kai Gronauer has come out of the dugout, and I think that might be all for Eisenhut. And it will be. So Bill Greenfield's win is gone. He's still responsible for the runner at 3rd, so if Thomas scores, Greenfield could be on the hook for a loss. But right now we're tied at 2 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and a pitching change for the Buchbinder Legionäre. And that looks like Daniel Mendelson is going to come in and pitch. So Eisenhut comes in and retires no one. He walks 2 batters. And Mendelssohn, who's been the closer, you know that Gronauer probably was hoping to be able to save him for when they had a lead, but now they don't have a lead anymore, and they got to stop the bleeding somehow. And Mendelssohn, ERA of 2.4 in just over 26 innings, 27 hits, 12 walks, 19 strikeouts, but that 27 hits is the number that kind of jumps out at you. He can be a little Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. He's been dominant at times, and he's been hit around at times. And he's going to come on and inherit an unenviable position. Chris Ziegler, who crushed a ball his last time. I remember I was out fixing the center field camera, and he hit a rocket to the right fielder. So Ziegler is going to come up with the bases loaded. Mendelssohn this year has faced the Disciples twice. Well, he's faced them once. He pitched 2 innings back on July the 28th, and he gave up 3 hits but no runs and a walk in those 2 innings. So he's going to deal with Chris Ziegler now. The inning started innocently enough. Dennis Wallace struck out, and then David Wallace hit a pop-up. But then Jan Endriat with a single, and Nate Thomas with a double, and then the pitching change and 2 walks, and then suddenly the lead is gone. We're tied at 2. And now it looks like Daniel Mendelssohn is ready.
And Mendelssohn actually a Fussen local. So he actually played with the Royal Bavarians back when I was there 5 years ago, and I remember he was 15 years old, and now he's facing another Fussener in Christoph Ziegler. So interesting matchup here, and I know both of the guys and both Royal Bavarians.
And Ziegler told me he was originally a hockey player. That's why he bats left-handed and looks like he's got a slap shot.
Yeah.
So he's up there with the bases loaded, and Mendelssohn on the mound. The pitch is low in the dirt, and a good block again by Heimler. Boy, he's having no fun this inning. That ball came to rest between Ziegler's legs. Heimler had to.
And I know we've talked about this, but the pitcher has to have a lot of trust in his catcher to go bases loaded, first pitch, breaking ball in the dirt.
Yeah, they were hoping for Ziegler to be a little over-anxious. Bases loaded, 2 outs, the pitch. Fouled away, and that was a very, very good cut by Ziegler.
He was right on it, then missed the fastball right there and just fouled it off. Mendelssohn was one of those guys. He was always at the field. He was always throwing since he was 15 years old.
1-1, bases loaded, 2 outs. The pitch. There's a fastball. That one catches the inside corner, 1-2.
That was fastball right in the inner half of the plate, and I think Ziegler was looking for a breaking ball and just let that one go.
And Heimler's return throw to the pitcher almost got away. 1-2. Big pitch coming. Here it comes. Curve. Ground ball left side. Base hit left field. Thomas is in the score. They're waving Klein around, and they hold him as the throw comes in. And now Steinlein is caught off second base, but he's able to get back as Heimler couldn't find the handle right away. 3-2 Disciples on an RBI single off the bat of Chris Ziegler.
And, man, great piece of hitting by Ziegler right there with 2 strikes. He gets a breaking ball, a slow breaking ball, and he was able to stay back, as you can see here on the replay, and go the opposite way to give the Disciples the lead.
That's a big looping curveball. And it went off the glove of Sakaza at third base, who nearly made a very nice play to his gloved side. But now Ruben Manriquez.
And that's tough. If you ask Sakaza, I guarantee you he says he probably should have made that play. But it was hard hit, and now the Disciples take the lead for the first time today.
And the first time in about 5 games against Regensburg. So Ruben Manriquez, bases still loaded. All of this with 2 outs and nobody on. Daniel Mendelssohn from the stretch. And the pitch. Fastball is a strike. So the base runners, Richard Klein at third, Luke Steinlein at second, Chris Ziegler at first. Again, good space, good speed, especially the trail runner. Ziegler has the best speed. Anything in the gap could possibly lead to 3 runs.
Big opportunity here for the Disciples to get a bigger lead.
There's the 0-1. There's a curve, and Manriquez almost came out of his shoes. Swinging and missing, strike 2.
And it's kind of far, but I can still see the face in Mendelssohn's. You know, you can see he kind of missed this spot he wanted. He kind of left that one up.
Oh, yeah, that was
got away with
he got away with that one. That curveball needs to be down. 0-2 on Ruben Manriquez. Bases loaded, 2 outs. The Disciples have taken a 3-2 lead. Mendelssohn comes set. And the pitch on the way. In the dirt. Blocked again. That's about the 6th one this inning that Heimler has blocked. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, definitely getting some work this inning for Heimler behind the plate.
Manriquez has been clutch for the Disciples. He's got 3 game-winning hits and then a game-winning ground ball that was an error. All of them walk-offs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the pitch. Fastball missed low. Mendelssohn took a step towards the dugout. Not a bad spot for that pitch.
That's a perfect spot right there with 2 strikes. Fastball down in the zone. Just barely missed, but a good miss for Mendelssohn.
It was a quality pitch. You don't want to miss and leave it over the center of the plate. Klein at third, Steinlein at second, Ziegler at first. 2 down, 3-2 Disciples. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Daniel Mendelssohn comes set 2-2. And the pitch on the way. This ball is popped up. Shallow center field. Long run for Amon. He is there to make the catch. And the inning is over, but not before the Disciples score 2 runs on 3 hits. They send 8 men to the plate. There were no errors, and they left 3 on base. We go to the 8th inning here in Haar. It is 3-2 Disciples. Haar Disciples Baseball is präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. We go to the top of the 8th inning. Another 1-run ball game. This time the Disciples leading 3-2. And we go to the top of the 8th. And Jan Tomek, who has thrown 101 pitches, 68 of which are strikes. He's digging at the dirt in front of the mound. And now he is ready to go. He's been great so far. 7 innings, 9 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. And he's facing Eric Harms to start things here in the 8th inning. With a 3-2 lead, the first pitch, there's a curve. And he just missed low, ball 1. It'll be Harms, Schmidt, and Grimes, 5, 6, and 7 in the order for the Buchbinder Legionäre. And there's a curve called strike 1 on the inside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike.
And it doesn't look like he's missed a beat. First 2 pitches, breaking balls. First one missed just down in the zone. The second one, first strike.
1-1. There's a fastball tapped foul on the count 1-2. Sometimes, I mean, a pitcher like Tomek, who relies so heavily on his off-speed pitch and his changeup, if you're a little fatigued, it might actually help you in certain ways because you're not really up there trying to gas the ball. You're just trying to place it, and you can be compact with your delivery. There's a swing and a miss.
And again, the slider. Yeah, exactly. Got him with the breaking pitch, and looks like he's been able to throw a strike right there you see on the replay. 2 strikes. Perfect spot as well. I mean, even if he doesn't swing, that's a strike.
Yeah, there was nothing Harms could do on that. So 1 down. That is strikeout number 5 for Mr. Tomek. And now Alex Schmidt. Now Schmidt has been a thorn in Tomek's side. He's been on base all 3 times. He was hit by a pitch, and then he's got 2 base hits. And now he looks at a curve inside, 1 ball, no strikes. There's 1 out. We're in the top of the 8th inning. You know, the Disciples hoping they can get one more inning out of Tomek, and then they'll probably go to Stein to try to close it in the 9th. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Boy, he took a lot off of that one, and Schmidt was about 10 minutes too soon for that train.
Yeah, he's really relying on that breaking ball, like you said, and hey, if it's working, why change anything?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, that's right.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. 3-2 Haar. Tomek winds and deals. That pitch is low. 2-1.
After a couple of breaking balls, you see the fastball. That one probably looks in the upper 80s after you've seen so many breaking balls. And see if he's trying to set him up here and go back to a breaking ball or stick with the fastball.
That's also why it's important to just every once in a while throw the fastball, even if you miss. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss because it puts the fastball in the hitter's mind. And then, you know, the general approach to hitting is to look for the fastball and adjust off of it if you think you see the breaking ball. And Tomek has really been doing that perfectly today. He's been pitching backwards a lot. 2-2 is tapped foul, and the count's still 2-2 on Schmidt.
You know, they say one of the most important things for pitching is disrupting the timing, and that's what it is. If he can keep it doesn't matter how hard you throw. If he can change speeds and go inside, outside, that's really all that matters.
Yeah, it's the difference between the slow and the fast that's more important than how fast the fast is.
Exactly.
Although, I mean, you know, I'm pretty sure Aroldis Chapman would do well in this league. Here's the pitch. Check swing on a pitch inside. They appeal. Did he go? No, says Jens Weidert on the first baseline.
Yeah,
so
I think you're right. Chapman would do all right in this league. But that's the thing with him. He throws so hard. But I think if you only threw that pitch, they would still figure him out. Major league hitters,
they do hit it.
They hit him.
You know, he gives up home runs.
But it's that off speed that gets him.
Yes.
You know.
3-2 is low outside, and Alex Schmidt has been on base 4 times.
That's a great at-bat right there. He had 2 strikes on him and takes that pitch a little bit outside the zone and try to get something going for Regensburg with 1 out.
I would not be surprised to see him take off in this situation. If you think you can get a jump, he's got good speed on first base. There's 1 out. You have the number 7 hitter David Grimes at the plate. And he represents the tying run. Right now he's got a very short lead with his hands on his knees. And he's not going. The first pitch to Grimes is in for a strike. It's a delayed call by the home plate umpire, but
maybe he wasn't sure, but it was a good pitch right there by Tomek. And we've seen him make a lot of throws to first base, so we'll see if he tries to keep him close over there with a pickoff or 2.
He's holding the ball a little bit longer. Now a quick pitch. The pitch is a breaking ball outside. That time he came set and barely hesitated.
And sometimes that's the best way to keep a runner, close. If you don't give him a look, you just go straight to the plate.
Schmidt, by the way, 9 for 12 in stolen base opportunities, so he is a threat to go. And you also have to remember it's David Wallace behind the plate, not Will Thorpe catching. But Wallace made a couple of great throws last weekend against Heidenheim behind home plate. Schmidt on first base, very short lead. There's 1 out. The count is 1-1 on David Grimes. And there he goes. The pitch is fouled away.
Looked like maybe a hit and run was on there. And you had Grimes swinging at the pitch with the runner moving but fouled off, and they'll start over.
The count now 1 ball and 2 strikes as Schmidt makes his way back to first base. Harm struck out to start the inning. Regensburg got their runs in the 4th and 7th innings. 2-out RBI single by Schmidt. Drove home the first run. 1-2 the count now on David Grimes. The pitch, runner not going, fouled away again. Still 1-2.
You can see David Wallace right there asking Tomek to throw that one up in the zone, and didn't get it quite up as high as he probably wanted to, but gets away with it.
And Grimes having to protect with 2 strikes. Obviously had to chase that ball.
Looking for a ground ball here with 1 out. Try to get a double play and end the inning.
1-2. Schmidt extending his lead. He's not going. The pitch. Ground ball sharply hit to Klein. This could be 2. There's the flip to short for 1. On to first. Double play. And you called it. 4-6-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It is the Disciples 3, the Legonäre 2. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. We are back. It is the bottom of the 8th inning. Miguel Pinheiro will start things off for the Disciples, the number 6 hitter, and then Dennis Wallace and David Wallace against Daniel Mendelson. And right now, Bill Greenfield is actually on the hook for the loss in this ballgame. The pitch is a strike to Pinheiro.
That's hard to believe. Greenfield had such a good game, but he had left those 2 runners he was responsible for, and they both scored.
Pinheiro is 0 for 3 today. And he lines this one into center field. He's now 1 for 4. Base hit.
Good way to start the inning for the Disciples, and especially with this, playing a good team in Regensburg, you want to get a couple insurance runs if you can for the 9th inning.
And yeah, we presume, I can't see anything in the Disciples bullpen, but we kind of assume that Luke Steinlein will come on and pitch the 9th inning. And we're going to get a pinch runner. That is Simon Lechner will come out of the dugout to run for Miguel Pinheiro. So Pinheiro ends his day on a high note with a base hit to start things here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Disciples 3, the Legonäre 2. And all the runs in this game have scored with 2 outs. The RBI single for Alex Schmidt in the 4th and Nino Sakaze in the 7th. That's the 2 Regensburg runs. For the Disciples, Ruben Manriquez, a 2-out RBI single in the 4th. And then with 2 outs in the 7th inning, the Disciples strung together 2 hits, 2 walks, and then another base hit to get 2 runs. And so this ballgame has been all about the 2-out rally, as Dennis Wallace will step up to the plate. Wallace is 1 for 3. Lechner off first base, very short lead. And the pitch, Wallace squares and he drops down a bunt. It's a good one, fielded by Mendelson. He tosses to first for the out. Lechner moves up.
That's a great bunt from Dennis Wallace, right where you wanted. First base side, Mendelson gets off the mound, makes the play, but the runner is now in scoring position in Lechner.
Yeah, that was a pretty good pitch to bunt on. It was down and away, and that's right into the direction that Wallace wanted to bunt it. So now David Wallace will try to come through with a 1-out hit.
And I got to give a shout out to another local Fussener who was a Royal Bavarian out in second base, Simon Lechner.
That's right. I remember he was in that game that you were in, I remember. And Sylvan Sotzek is also here, by the way.
Yeah, he's somewhere in the crowd.
And time is called.
I thought for a second he called a balk. I don't know if you saw last night the Mariners beat the Dodgers with a balk off.
Most exciting play in baseball. If there's ever a reason for umpires to have like a loudspeaker like the way they do in the NFL, that would be it. So the crowd would have some idea what happened. The pitch to David Wallace. Fastball outside, 1 ball, no strikes. This ballgame was started by Bill Greenfield. He went 6 2/3 And then Johnny Eisenhut came on and walked the 2 batters he faced, and now Daniel Mendelsohn is on here in the 8th inning. So the 3rd pitcher for the Legionäre. It's been Jan Tomek all the way for the Disciples. Simon Lechner is on second base, and the pitch. There's a line drive, base hit left field. Lechner was headed back, and now the ball gets past Eric Harms, and Lechner's going to score easily. And Wallace takes second base. That's going to be a single and an E7 all the way. 4-2 Disciples.
And man, a lot of things happening there. David Wallace with a great swing off of Mendelsohn for a base hit, and you saw Lechner kind of hesitate right there, making sure the ball fell. As you see the swing right here on the replay.
Yeah, Lechner's first move was back to second, and he was being held at third, but then the ball went right through the wickets of Eric Harms in left field. So there's an error. First error in the ball game for either team. And the Disciples do get an insurance run.
That could prove to be a huge run right there for the Disciples, and it comes because of an error, so an unearned right now.
No run batted in for Wallace on that play. Jan Endriat. Endriat has contributed at the plate today. He's 2 for 3, and he singled and scored. His 2-out single in the 7th inning was the beginning of the end for Bill Greenfield. There's a pickoff play at second base, and Wallace dives back easily. Jens Weider right there to make the call. Weider is one of the most experienced umpires in the Bundesliga. He's been involved in the European Championships the last few years. Was also involved in the World Baseball Classic. And the pitch, this is upstairs to Jan Endriat. 1 ball, no strikes. 4-2 Disciples. They had 2 hits all game yesterday. They have 10 today. Next one on the way. That's off the plate, and it's going to get off the glove of the catcher. That's a pass ball. That allows Wallace to move to third base.
You know, we've talked about so much about Heimler doing a good job blocking the balls, and that one was probably the easiest one. Just a pitch outside, and he just maybe lost a little bit of focus to advance the runner to third base.
Yeah, that could be a little bit of frustration beginning to show, and that's something that young players need to battle through. 2-0 on Endriat. The pitch is popped up, and that is foul, and it will not land on us. Lands behind us. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And now with the runner at third base and less than 2 outs, you can, you know, you see the infield playing in, trying to cut the runner down, but also a fly ball can score the run.
Mendelsohn wants to strike out. The 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss on a breaking ball, and Endriat almost spun himself underground on that one.
Man, that was a big looper from Mendelsohn to get Endriat to swing over it. So now with 2 strikes, we'll see what he goes to.
The 2-2, and he went to that same pitch. It's in the dirt, blocked by Heimler. He has to throw to first, and he does so. So the strikeout is completed. And there are 2 down as Wallace has to stay put at third base.
You saw Mendelsohn with the second strike, a big looping curveball, and then you saw this swing, how he looked. So he went right back to it, and great pitch in the dirt. Good block by Heimler to get the out at first base.
Yeah, that one had straight downward action to it. That's a good breaking ball. Some pitchers throw a breaking ball that has more lateral break, and those can be a lot easier to meet, you know, if they sort of cross the swing plane. But that one went straight down. That's a tough pitch. So now Nate Thomas gets to turn around and bat left-handed. And the pitch is grounded up the middle, deflected off the glove of the pitcher. It trickles to the second baseman, Jan. Throw to first is not in time, and Wallace will score. It is 5-2 on an infield base hit off the bat of Nate Sean Thomas.
And it kind of makes you wonder if Mendelsohn hadn't put a glove on that ball, if they would have made a play in the infield, but it might have gone through over to center field.
I think that might have gone through. You're right. It was up the middle, slightly to the right of the mound, and Lucas Jan, obviously his first step was in that direction, and then the ball suddenly goes the other way.
He actually made a really nice play, a barehanded play, almost got the out, but Thomas just a little too fast for him.
That's right. And so, 2 insurance runs for the Disciples as Richard Klein is up. And the pitch to him in the dirt, breaking ball, blocked by Heimler. 1 ball, no strikes. So in the inning, Miguel Pinheiro started it with a single. He was sacrificed to second base. Wallace drove him home. Well, actually, Wallace singled, and he scored on the error in left field by Harms. But now that run is earned anyway because that base hit from Thomas presumably would have allowed the run to score. So they're earned runs. 1 ball, no strikes on Richard Klein. Nate-Sean Thomas at first base. Maybe he's going now. Pitch is grounded slowly to the left side, grabbed in fair territory by Sakaza, and he fires across the diamond in time for the 3rd out of a frustrating 8th inning for the Legionäre. They give up 2 runs. 2 runs on 3 hits. There was 1 error, and there was 1 man left on base. We go to the 9th inning, last licks for the Legionäre, as the Disciples lead this ball game by a score of 5-2. This is Hard Disciples Baseball, präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. We go to the top of the 9th inning, 5-2. The Disciples leading the Buchbinder Legionäre Regensburg. And Luke Steinlein is indeed in the ballgame to try to close this thing out for the Disciples. Steinlein got the save last weekend against the Heidenheim Heidecke for the Disciples' only win in the playoff round. They are 1-6, trying to climb the rankings of the Bundesliga South. If they can close this ballgame out, they would be 1 game out of second place, rather, which is the only goal they have, as it's sort of a 3-team cluster for the second place in the Bundesliga South between Regensburg, Haar, and Mainz. And Mitch Stefan, the Alte Bekannte here in Haar, former Füssen Royal Bavarian as well. You know Mitch very well, I'm sure, right, Daniel?
He's the guy really responsible for me being in Germany in the first place.
And so he's pinch hitting against Luke Steinlein. First pitch is a strike, and we are underway. Stefan pinch hitting for Jeffrey Arendt, who had pinch run for Jose Palacios. It'll be 8-9-1. Jonathan Heimler is on deck, and then I saw Marcel Jimenez with a bat as well. Regensburg fans trying to get into it. The pitch, swing and a miss. Stefan very late on a high fastball, 0-2.
You can imagine all the different feelings going through Stefan's head right now, playing, you know, he used to play here and now coming back and playing against this old team.
Yeah, his first game back earlier this year, he had a 4-hit day. And in the last game, I think he was over for 0-2. Steinlein working from the first base side of the rubber, and the pitch is inside. That one.
Steinlein bringing some heat on that pitch, up and in to Stefan, maybe, you know, sending a message.
Steinlein in 20 1/3 innings, ERA of 7.5, but he has been used in so many different roles, and he's most comfortable in the closer role. And he had a perfect 9th inning against Heidenheim last week. The 1-2, that's low, count now even 2-2.
That one looked like a changeup, and you hear the crowd.
The crowd, that's the Regensburg fans. Jan Tomek was fantastic, by the way. 8 innings, 9 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. He can win it. He cannot lose it. Right now, Bill Greenfield is on the hook for the loss, although he was also very good. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Disciples have the shift on, and a swing and a miss. Strike 3. That's the first out here in the 9th inning.
Oh, it's the biggest out right there. The leadoff guy in the 9th inning when you're up by 3 trying to get the win, and big first out for the Disciples.
And it was the high fastball in the end that got Mitch Stefan. So now, Jonathan Heimler. Heimler is 0 for 3 today. The Disciples scoring 2 back-breaking runs in the 8th inning. And the pitch to Heimler is a curve, and it's outside, ball 1. Steinlein throws a knuckle curveball. And when he's right, it's got sharp break. That last one looked pretty good. It was just maybe outside.
Just barely missed, but a good pitch, good movement from Steinlein.
And his fastball has movement as well. That's what makes him tough. Here's the 1-0. There's a fastball that comes back over the outside corner, 1-1.
And right away, the first 2 batters we've already seen is 3 pitches, fastball, changeup, curveball. So he's shown us his arsenal.
Well, these 2 teams have known each other for years now. Home plate umpire Alex Wagner is pointing at something, maybe in the batter's box. Not sure what this is all about. Jonathan Heimler had stepped out of the box, and now he's back in. So whatever that was, it is past. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Steinlein. Now it's not. Alex Wagner, home plate umpire, trying to control, I think, maybe where the edges of the batter's box are. The batter's box, of course, long gone. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on base. The pitch to Heimler. That curve is low in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike.
And if you're Regensburg right now, you can't really focus on the 3 runs. You just got to make sure you get runners on base and try to get something going any way possible.
Yeah, I mean, they have the top of their order after this. They would love to have 1 or 2 base runners, of course, before Amon comes up. There's a fastball thrown right by Jonathan Heimler. And the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And Steinlein, man, with that fastball coming right through him, after him, and with some heat.
Now, Steinlein is a guy, he's got a rubber arm. He can let it fly. He can start. He can close. He's just been a very valuable player to the Disciples. Fastball down the pipe, strike 3. 2 down.
I'm not exactly sure what Heimler was doing right there with 2 strikes, maybe looking for a breaking ball, but you see the replay. Fastball right on the outside corner. No swing from Heimler.
Looking for something else. And so 2 down, 9th inning. Lucas Jan started the ball game. Luke Steinlein is hoping that he will be the one to end the ball game. Left-hand hitter, he is 1 for 4 today. And Steinlein from the stretch. Here's the pitch. That is a strike with a fastball, no messing around, and why should you? 3-run lead, 2 outs, nobody on. The strike is more important than being cute with backdoor breaking balls or anything.
That's the reason for those insurance runs. That's why they're so big.
Here's the 0-1. And the fastball missed low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jan does have power. We saw it to start the ball game. He hit a fly ball to the wall that Steinlein caught with a nice leap up against the fence. And now Steinlein is on the mound trying to get him out a different way. 1-1, 2 outs. Infield is very deep. And the pitch on the way. This ball drilled in the air to left field. Going back is Simon Lechner, and he makes the catch just shy of the warning track. A very nice play by Simon Lechner. And that is the ball game. The Heart Disciples win by a score of 5-2. Luke Steinlein with a perfect 9th inning to close it out for Jan Tomek, who gets another win.
Great game, and you saw the defensive replacement right there in left field paying dividend right there for the Disciples. A well-hit ball from Jan, but Simon Lechner making a great play in left field to end the game.
And the Disciples, they stay alive in the Bundesliga South. They still have a very slim chance to make that second place, but this was an important victory. They are now only a game behind Regensburg. As Regensburg still in second place with a record of 23-13 now. The Disciples are 22-14. The Disciples get their second win in the playoff round as they are now 2-6. Regensburg is, I believe, now 2-4. That can't be right. I think I got to check that again. But anyway, the Disciples win by a score of 5-2. The final line score: 2 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors for the Buchbinder Legionäre. 5 runs on 11 hits, no errors for the Hard Disciples. Winning pitcher, of course, Jan Tomek. 8 strong innings. Luke Steinlein with the save. The loss will go to Bill Greenfield, who also pitched very well, but the 2 runners he left on base at the end of the game coming around to score really bit him. And the fans treated to another lively atmosphere. It's been an exciting summer here in Haar. And, yeah, Dan, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you for having me. Thanks for the entry.
Sure.
I enjoyed the game. It was a great game. Enjoyed joining you here in the broadcast, and hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Yeah, well, folks, tune in next weekend. Games on Saturday and Sunday versus the Mainz Athletics, who will travel to Haar. I'll be there for both of those games. And who knows what kind of special guests we'll have. It seems like it's just a revolving door of knowledgeable and wonderful people joining me in the booth. So
you do such a great job that everybody wants to be a special guest. You know.
Well, thank you. Yes, but it helped. It worked out great today because I was able to go turn the center field camera back on. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. My name is Tim Collins. The highlights will be up later today. Don't forget to subscribe on Facebook or Twitter, on YouTube. All those wonderful things. You can find all that info at EuroBaseballTV.com. Once again, the final score: the Hard Disciples 5, the Buchbinder Legionäre Regensburg 2. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon, everyone. Thanks for watching.